Yo, Smeg, you couldn't even wait till I was sitting down, dude. Holy crap. Hang on a second. Yo, what's up? Oh my god, I look like crap. Y'all, I need a haircut so bad it's not even funny. I look like garbage. Smeg! Holy cow, dude. I mean, how are you, buddy? Appreciate the hell out of you, man. I have not streamed since my birthday, I just realized. Oh my god, it's been a while. Guys, I have been inundated like massively with life, baseball, softball, all sorts of stuff. Hey, Mahindra. Oh my gosh. All right, let me get this other screen pulled up here. Can't even get my kids to go to bed. I see people walking around out there. I'm like, who the hell is that now? Yo, Smeg. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the hell out of you. Hey, Angels. How you doing, bud? Avernum. Yeah, guys, I have not been able to keep up with like streaming or videos or anything right now. I mean, I'm sure as most of you know, after my birthday, we had my son's first tournament for All-Stars, and then of course my wife had to have emergency surgery, and so she's good now, but she's recovering here at home. We have to take off to go 4 hours to Eastern Washington for my son's second tournament because they're moving on. And hey, Wagon Burner, how you doing, bud? And so now I've got like all this craziness in life to figure out. So unfortunately, every night that I've been home and it's been like 10 o'clock, I have had no time to sit down and actually make any videos, do any streams. It's fine. It's good. It's whatever. Hey, Lugia, you know, life happens and it's not like anything bad. I mean, my wife having surgery, that was obviously unexpected and unfortunate. She's going to be fine though. Congrats to everyone becoming a member but me. You know, Wagonbird, the thing is, I wish people could actually gift people specifically memberships and all that, like Twitch does. That is the one of the few things Twitch does well that YouTube doesn't do, is specifically like targeted memberships and all that stuff. Oh, no worries, Meg. Dude, it's just even my birthday stream was so poorly planned, so like half-assed. So she had a infection in her gallbladder, which is crazy to hear. You know, gallbladders common issues with people in the United States, obviously, but like an actual infection in it, because it was causing her massive pain in her stomach and her chest. Painting the old house. Oh my god. Like every stream, we like it that way. What are we talking about? Oh my god. Dude, okay, so even the ones that I have, like, that are really bad, where it's kind of half-assed to the point where I just don't have anything prepared. I don't know. I still feel like once in a while, I usually have a pretty good itinerary of things to talk about. I don't know. For my birthday, it was like everything was so busy and crazy. Like we were at practices for my son and my daughter till like, 9:15, 9:30 at night, I think it was. So unfortunately, I mean, you take the good with the bad, right? I'll take all these sacrifices I have to make for my kids to have all these memories and everything else. It's all good, you know? Kid walked behind me. Yeah, I know. I don't know which one it was. They're supposed to go to bed. I've been trying to get them to go to bed for like 20 minutes. My daughter had softball practice till 9 o'clock tonight. Her and I didn't get home from her practice till like, what is it right now? 9:45? Yeah, we got home like 30 minutes ago. So I can't even get them to go to bed. I'm like, guys, brush your teeth, go to sleep. They won't do it. You can tell by his feet. That was probably my oldest then. He's bigger than I am. Friggin' ginormous. He's huge. He's gonna be a bruiser. My god, he's only 13 and he's massive. I mean, he's one of the big hitters on his team, which is cool. I mean, they're going to state, which is crazy. So my entire next week, I tried to put this out there on YouTube, and of course, at the same time that I haven't been posting to YouTube and I got shadow banned on Twitter and all these things happened where nobody was seeing any of the shit that I posted, I tried to put a post out there saying, look, a little bit of information about life. I'm not going to have time to make videos right now. I'm not going to have time for live streams because I got all these different things going on. And I'm sure like maybe 20 people even saw the post. But yeah, that's kind of what I got going on right now. So until that span of time is over where my kids' seasons are officially done, I'm gonna go stay in Eastern Washington for over the weekend for like 3 days and come back for work. Smeg, I was getting an average of 200,000 impressions a day, just average on Twitter. And then I got hit with, I don't know if some asshole, because once in a while you piss off the wrong person, they'll report you for weird stuff. My account had a few things where I got flagged for sensitive content, which doesn't even make sense because I don't post anything like that. And then I had one that I had to delete, which was just a meme to get my account unlocked. And after I came back, my account was massively shadow banned. So, I mean, Wagenberger can attest to that, you know? Mostly just the Sony PlayStation stuff, Mahendra. My boy is 1 inch from the same height for me, and I'm 5'10" and a half. No, he is right now at 13. I think he's like 5'8" or close to 5'9". And by the time he's done growing, he's going to be well over 6 feet tall. Oh yeah, Lucia, it's a lot of fun, dude. Yeah, no, I checked. I'm not shadow banned anymore. There for the longest time, it was just now like a search suggestion ban, which means that there's a popular topic trending and you say something about it. When people search that topic, nobody sees your stuff. Stop Killing Games failed on Europe and US. I saw something about that. Smeg, impressions are like views. Twitter, the thing is, because it's not like a video on a YouTube type platform where you have to watch for a certain amount of time to actually get a view counted. On Twitter, they have what, you know, like scrolling through, you have impressions. And so impressions are, it came across somebody's feed at some point. We don't know how long they stopped and read it or looked at it or watched it. It's just an impression, you know? So it doesn't really count for much. It's a wild week, Mahendra. It's crazy. It really is. All right. So let me kill the music. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I need to start just using some generic, like, I don't know, hell, like Valheim or some music like that in the background. So if someone scrolls past your tweet, someone else's topic, it counts. So here's the weird thing about impressions on Twitter. And I still call it Twitter. Sometimes I'll write out X, but when I'm talking about the platform, I just call it Twitter. Twitter, Twatter, whatever. Twatter machine. If you repost something that's somebody else's and like you quote tweet it and post something, you get impressions off of it, but also gives them more impressions. Obviously, it's this whole ecosystem or whatever. Hail PC Master Race, oh for sure. Background music at a low volume would be nice. I mean, I could pull up Spotify and see if, I mean, there's full, I don't ever play video game music, like, for my own enjoyment, like, in the background. I have Spotify installed on here. Where the hell is that at? I wonder if there are video game soundtracks on here. Like Valheim or something. Waiting for Empress? I'm sure she'll be here at some point. I'm quoting as Twat Waffle. Hey, Empress. It's like Mahendra knew you were here or something. Dark Souls. No, I want to see if Valheim's on here, though. Put on elevator music. Yo, Valheim original game soundtrack. Would you look at that? How long is that? Yo, that's like... That's crazy. That's enough music for the entire stream. Shit, I should just do that. D&D Cantina music. Let me see. Hang on. I'm gonna hit play and see how loud this is. Let me try this. How loud is that? You're summoned? Mahendra just mentioned you. I think that's too loud. It needs to be lower. Well, actually, I can't hear it at the level that you guys are hearing it at. I don't know. I'm not that tech savvy. Oh, but good morning, Empress. Yes, I mean, it's crazy. I didn't die, in fact. But I am going to disappear again for another 4 or 5 days. Just so you guys are all warned. And seems to be cutting off and on. Ah, crap. You know, I'm not even streaming to Rumble anymore. I'm trying to limit, like, the amount of different places I'm streaming to try to, like, help with that. Put on the Valheim sailing music. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, I'm not surprised about the whole Stop Killing Games thing. Now, again, is it completely dead in the water? I have not seen recently what the story is with that. You know, actually, I do have an elevator music thing I could put on. I remember when I first started streaming on Twitch, there was this guy I saw on Twitter who does, like, DMCA compliant music. And it's all just like soundboard effects and everything. It's fine for me, and I have it running on PC and phone too. It sent me back to the start. Dude, YouTube does some crazy shit. YouTube does some wild stuff sometimes. I'll try to like watch somebody's stream, and if it's either buffering or it's just like not catching up, I'll keep tapping to like catch up to the actual present point of the stream, and it'll just never load sometimes. No, honestly, all I wanted to talk about really was just this whole PlayStation, Xbox, GTA, digital games thing, because there's a lot of insanity around it. And I know that there are some people who don't really care, but what do you expect from lobbyists, from the big gaming organizations giving kickbacks to these politicians? Let's be honest. I mean, yeah, it's always going to end up this way. Could generate a track with AI. You know, Avernum, I know that. Hey, Oblivion, dude, let me ask you, before I forget to ask you, Oblivion, is there something going on with the ID verification that they've confirmed for Discord? I saw you left Discord a couple days ago, and I assumed it was the ID verification stuff. After it failed, Sony announced the end of physical games. Hey, Ralgor. Well, I mean, it's not your fault, dude. I haven't streamed in like freaking... I haven't streamed since the night of my birthday. What's the date today? So it's been like, 8 days since I streamed? I don't even think, I made one video in between my birthday and now? Yeah, guys, I just have to get through the next week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, and my kids' seasons will probably inevitably be done. If my daughter wins and goes to state, that's only in Seattle, which isn't too terribly far away. And that's as far as she can go. But my son, if he somehow wins state, I won't be telling you guys that. I'll just pretend life is moving on as usual because I'm not going to dox myself. However, I will have to figure out... my wife has to take my son to Arizona. I don't know what I'm going to fucking do. I'm going to lose my mind. Sony also announced the end of PS3. And yeah, I've seen that too. He sent me a message, said your Discord sucks, so he left on his own accord. So, Meg, I know that's not true because you're not even on Discord, man. Our hobbies get so fucked. Somehow companies or the government is going to do the same when people step outside. Yeah, dude, it's insane. I was just talking about like all the COVID crap and everything, and it's like, it seems that since 2020, everything sucks, you know? I was waiting for them to complete my deletion request. They didn't even also announce verifications come back soon via spying, which is even worse. Great. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll try to figure out a backup for Discord, dude. We kind of dropped the ball on that. I haven't actually followed up on that to try to figure it out. Hope my Gooner bait isn't flooding your feed too bad. Oh my god, are you back posting about the like the GTA cover stuff? I haven't seen any of that, dude, so no worries. Oh yeah, Heatwave apparently is terrible. Now where I'm going to be going for my son's tournament, it's going to be about 95 to 98 degrees some of these days, which isn't as bad as Arizona. If my son has to go to Arizona in like 3 or 4 weeks for regional, I guess it is, for All-Stars, I can't imagine what temperature it's going to be in Arizona in freaking July. Like, holy shit. I can't. I cannot imagine them playing in July. Oh, yeah. So this is the first house, first apartment, first place I have lived in Washington in my entire adult life that has air conditioning. So while I'm not trying to run the air conditioning 24/7, and thank God I got lots of trees around, so it stays pretty cool, relatively speaking. Yeah, but in Europe, I guess a lot of Europe doesn't have air conditioning, so. Stream's fine? Oh, thank you, Empress. I always get worried. Because I'm talking to the landlord right now. I actually emailed the property management about adding a cable jack into this room. And so she's going to ask the landlord if they're cool with that, which they should be. It's just another jack in the wall. I can't imagine it'll be a problem. Seems to have passed here, but apparently another one's on the way. Oh my God, Avernum, you guys are going to die. You're going to die. Oh my... You're never going to survive. Oh my God. Well, India has cooler fans and chilling. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, okay, so in the case of my state, you got to understand, I kind of view Washington like Europe. From what I've been told, from what I understand, Washington and parts of Europe, particularly the parts more like the UK, the Great Britain area, you've got the clouds, you've got a lot of the rain. More of that, even when it's hot, it doesn't get that super hot. We're watching you. That's my birthday gift to you. Some shit talk. Hey, you give that to me 24/7. That's not a birthday gift. That's all the time. I didn't consider the fact that the music is going to screw up the sound. Oh, okay, hang on a second. Let me figure this out. I'm going to pause the music a second.
I am very sad with the announcement of ending physical games on PlayStation. I mostly buy physical. This would also affect my small business.
Dude, Lugia, 1000%, yes. And that's another thing. We're going to get into that in a minute. We're going to talk about that. Oh my God, I forgot to give Smeg his clip. Oh my God. What a terrible host I am. Hang on a second. Also, microphone's unmuted, it has no signal. Okay, we're good there. I did that on purpose. Just making sure all the alerts are fine. Would I rather a virtual BJ? I don't even want to... I died twice just this weekend. Here I am. All right, so Smeg, here's for you for the gifted subs, buddy. Appreciate you, man. I guess gifted memberships. Where the hell are we? Oh my God, I'm so out of practice.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring? No, in real life.
All right, guys. Here comes the shower of support. All right, let's continue. Here we go.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
All right, I think that's enough clips for now. All right. Why ruin the DSP? That's what she said. Pretty much the end of PlayStation. Yeah, it feels that way. Lucia, thank you for the 5, buddy. Smegs, thanks for the 10 gifted memberships, dude. Heard about the DSP diaper thing? Yes, I did. I can't even, I don't even want to touch that. I don't even want to think about that. Hang on, let me pull back on my Spotify a second. If I turn this way down, but we leave this stream volume set up higher, let me see if this works. I'm going to hit the play on this. We'll figure out a good balance at some point. And then you guys just have to tell me, like, when the volume's too quiet, too loud, or whatever. I can still turn it down a little bit more. If we're just going for some background music, and I don't usually play Spotify for background music, but I'm kind of over all this this garbage retarded like Streamlabs music. I mean, eventually I'm just gonna stop using it entirely. DSP diaper thing, yeah. So apparently, the latest news, the latest story about DSP is that he is using adult diapers, whether it's because he doesn't want to have to get up during his stream to use the bathroom or because he's an old man and can't hold his urine anymore, I guess. I don't even want to think about that. Yeah, he wears a poopy pants sack, allegedly. Allegedly, in people's opinion, I have no verification of that. I'm not going to try to verify that, dude. Well, Wagon Burner, I mean, NASCAR drivers do it, but that's because they're driving for 2.5 hours staying hydrated, and the last thing they want to do is, have to stop and piss during a race. Yeah, hey, Wagon Burner, yes, the extra Emily thing, turns out it was a clip from before her ban from driving on, Twitch stream, so I deleted my post because I'm like, yeah, it's old news, so. I mean, the photos are convincing, but, I mean, is it edited? Is it I mean, I don't know, dude. I have no idea. All right. Yeah, no worries, man. If I catch something that I posted or reposted that I find out is fake, I usually delete it. I'm like, I'm not going to leave this up. There are people, and I'm not going to name names, that exist on the internet, and they don't care if things are true or not. They'll just leave that shit up for, engagement and clicks and all that. If I know something's false, like if I posted something in good faith thinking it was true and then I find out it was wrong, I'm going to take that down. I'm going to delete that shit. I'm not going to leave it up. All right. So this all started with a lot of the Grand Theft Auto stuff, right? And this is, of course, talking about Yorch. Yorch, Grums, a lot of people that exist on the internet. Endymion, just there's a lot. Hey, H. Brown. Claims he lost weight and his pants look like a diaper because it's bigger than what he needs now. Yorch name mentioned, name ruined, yeah. Stream ruined, yeah. No, dude, honestly, I don't even care. Enough people are clowning on that retard. I don't have to think about it. I don't want to think about it. It's whatever. He's just a little parasite at this point. Should load up on water and no diapers, make them drive extra fast. Oh my God. All right. So Grand Theft Auto 6 is not getting a disc-based physical copy, despite recent reports. This is, of course, after they found out that the Ultimate Super Deluxe Amazing Edition, which gave you, I guess, a tattoo shop and some customizable clothing options or something. I don't want to think about it, man. He acts like a PlayStation fanboy. Well, that's because he is. I'll tell you what, it cracked me up one of those times a couple years ago, year and a half ago, when I found out that all of Endymion's footage is from a capture card on his PlayStation and that he doesn't even have a PC to like edit his videos on. He had some on like a laptop or an iPad or something. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I know you can afford it, my guy. Why would you not own an actual desktop? It's crazy. There are people who are preferred laptops. And I'm like, look, I understand if you can't afford a PC. Like you have a laptop and you're just making do with that. I get that. You know, but at the same time, it's like, if you can afford a PC, why would you prefer a laptop or a tablet or some shit like that? Yeah, code in a box. It's terrible. My bet is that multiplayer is actually a live service game and they let people assume it is included. Oh my God, Oblivion, that would not surprise me at all. Prefer laptops too. I mean, people have their preferences. I just don't understand it. Like if you could afford both, if you could afford both, I don't understand choosing a laptop, you know? He pretends that piracy doesn't exist. Why would anybody pretend piracy doesn't exist? Everyone knows piracy exists on PC. That's like, I don't want to say one of the benefits, because I've actually never pirated a game. Music back in the day, sure. We back in the early days of Windows Messenger and stuff, you have a friend that has an album they want to send you. They send you one track at a time over Windows Messenger. We had LimeWire. We had all that shit. Come on. But like, have I ever gone to like a third-party website to, one of these like repacking websites to download a game? No, I never has. He does not mention in his video. I don't watch Endymion stuff, so I have no idea. Right, Angels. And the other thing about laptops too is if a laptop craps out, there's really nothing you can do. As far as I understand. I have never in my life opened up a laptop, and I never will. I'm like, my last laptop I had was like 10 years ago, and the thing fried after like 2 years. I'm just not interested in trying to like take that apart and fix it. I was thinking more than once that I should convert into a desktop. I mean, look, I understand laptops are mobile. Desktops, especially mine, I would never be hauling this thing around. And mine's a mid-size. Mine's not even like the big ones, right? I not know a fit girl at all. Exactly. I actually had a tweet from Nure that I had reposted, and she's like, I'm going to start a Discord to teach people about the evils of pirating, and so people can know how to avoid pirating games and stuff. And I'm like, exactly. I'm going to share this because piracy is evil and it's destroying the gaming industry, and we definitely need to have people know more about it. Now, me personally, I've never gone to pirated a game, and I don't care. It's not like even like I no longer have a moral issue with it. I just don't personally do it. I don't care. Yeah, you can't upgrade CPU and GPU on a laptop, right? Exactly. That's one of the serious downsides. So then, of course, after the digital code for the Ultimate Edition, no disc included, they're like, well, they're going to have a disc version that comes out later on down the road, right? And it's like, I don't care. I'm not going to buy a PlayStation. I don't care about GTA. I don't care. It's the least of the issues in the gaming industry is due to piracy. Yeah, no, H. Brown, the funny thing is people treat piracy like piracy is the thing killing gaming. But it's like, no. There's a lot of developers. In fact, I think it was Notch, the guy that, Minecraft, the man that made Minecraft. He's like, I'm totally fine with people pirating games. I don't care. Pirating games promotes my games because people play it, stream it, share it, and eventually if they love the game, they'll pay money for it.
Say, hey man, I love you. This many dollars.
Hell yeah, Lucia.
If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Clownfish TV.
They're not the only ones I've heard say that, but dude, 1,010%. Thank you for the 5, Lucia. 1,000%. 100% agree. Like there's, and I understand we're gonna get into Asmongold's terrible takes, and I know some of you guys might agree with him. Some of you guys might think this whole thing's a big nothing burger, and people are being ridiculous about the lack of physical media. But yeah, exactly, Mahendra. Yeah. Let's just pay for a live service for games that are just on lease. Great concept. It's all. Dude, the life is so fucked up. It's crazy. All right, so now they're saying there's going to be no physical edition of the game on PlayStation. Then, of course, they released that GTA 6 apparently is not even supposed to run at 60 frames per second on any PS5 console, which I find laughable because I, again, am not somebody who cares about how many frames per second. As long as the game looks good, I'm not worried about tracking the actual frames that I'm getting. I don't care about the hertz of my, monitor and all those other things. Those are things that are beneath me as far as like my priorities in life. I want the game to run well. I want it to have less load time, less stuttering. I want it to look decent, but also have, good gameplay. That's all I care about. But apparently this is something that's pissing a lot of people off. Like, how is it not even going to run at 60 FPS on a PS5? It's crazy. Your PS5 Pro. Right, exactly. We don't know anything about it. It's not stealing. It's copyright infringement at best. Well, yeah, there you go. He's a retard who has a moment of glory now and then. I know, right? It's not that easy to pirate a game even. Not everyone is technically adequate to do it. They never did it before. Yeah, you have to learn how. Empress, it's one of those things. It is one of those things that you have to... I mean, look, recently, my kids all got back into like riding bikes and stuff, and I had never ridden a disc brake bike before. Everything I've had has been like, I think they call it a rotor brake, where it just squeezes the tire or whatever. And so I've got 2 bikes that I picked up on clearance at Costco that are adult, like the what's the brand of them? I can't remember. They're called they're decent bikes. They're not like thousands of dollars. They're like $150, $200 bikes. Got them on clearance a couple years ago, and I never rode the things. Now the things are squeaking. The brakes are squeaking anytime my son rides it. Well, then of course my son's bike, my daughter's riding now, and the chain came off, and it's like, I don't do bikes. To fix both of these situations with the squeaking brake disc on the one bike and the chain that came off the other, I'm now going to have to tinker with these and take them apart and figure it out. I know I can do it, but unfortunately, it's things that are going to take my time to do. It's kind of like anything else. It's like with pirating games. Could I figure it out? Absolutely. Before 7 years ago, I'd never built a computer. Now I've built 3. Everything takes time. Not everybody's going to be able to learn how to do these things, unfortunately. It's much easier with repacks, not having to deal with War XZ. I don't even know what that is, man. I got used to playing at 60 FPS. Just feels weird when you play 30. I imagine that would maybe like it would look different when you're playing the game at 30 versus 60. If it's noticeable, then of course I'm going to complain about it. If it's noticeable, I'm going to have a hard time, I like how big map GTA 6 is going to be, like how many stars is it going to be, how many missions in the game. Nobody's asking. Mahendra, nobody's asking because nobody cares. Because they're just looking at this going, ooh, new shiny thing. Yes, I need it. And at high frame rates are awesome, so smooth. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying is, as somebody who is competent at understanding basic like terminology and references for things that are important, I don't find myself to particularly be fixated on tracking the FPS for any game that I play. That's kind of how I'm with that. And if I pull up my graphics card software, I can look at it, I've seen it before, I've looked at it recently. Most of the games on my computer run minimum 60 frames per second, some of them upwards of like 140. So I know that I'm definitely on the more optimal side of things. I just don't spend much time thinking about it. It doesn't keep me up at night, I'm just saying. GTA games since childhood, so this first thing I'm going to ask. Oh, sure, Mahendra, but you're talking to somebody who's never bothered playing a GTA game. It wasn't a game that I would have been allowed to own when I was a child. And so for me, the hype wore off. By the time I was a teenager and I was buying my own games, I think we were up to GTA, I don't know, 2 or 3. And I just didn't have any desire to play them. The fascination wasn't there, Mostly cosmetic packs and shark cards, probably. Oblivion, I feel that way 100%. Like, I'm going to take after we get done this week down where we're going and dealing with all this all-star baseball stuff, I'm going to take the bikes over to the local bike shop and say, hey, does this really need like a new brake disc? What can we do about this? I just don't want to think about it, man. Some things are worth spending a few bucks to not have to do yourself. Oil changes. I know there are people who change their own oil. My brother is a mechanic. Well, he's in the military. He builds helicopters and he's an officer and he does all these things. He's built cars from scratch. So he can do his own oil. For $30, $40, change your lube oil filter. I'm not going to take the time to do that myself. I'm just not, We have different reality when it comes to pirating. Most people that can't buy games would pirate, so the studios don't lose any money from these people anyways. Yeah, I mean, that's another reality, Empress. A lot of people who pirate do it because they couldn't get the game for one reason or another, whether it's financial, whether it's because of like region locks. I mean, it's, yeah. The first GTA was Body Harvest 64. I don't even know what that is, man. Still don't have a gameplay trailer, no. But people still pre-order it, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Oblivion. So if you know how and you've got the means, I can understand people doing it. For me, I ain't doing that shit. I drive a Kia and a Ford. Neither one of them's lifted. I would have to put them on a jack. I'm not doing that. I'm just not. It's not worth me screwing something up, you know? So then I saw this. It says, Rockstar Games mocks those who buy the Ultimate Edition of GTA 6. It's an image from the exclusive content of that edition, and you can read the phrase, buy more useless shit. It says they were well aware that many would jump through the hoop and pay those extra $20. Yeah, the barcode here says buy more useless shit. Pirating is viewed as a game preservation as service to the community. Also, there's a line in the installation saying, if you like the game, buy it. Hey, you know what? That's cool. Honestly, I have no moral issue with people pirating games. I used to think, pirating movies, pirating games, pirating music, that's kind of bad. And I no longer care. I truly no longer care. If people do it, that's fine. I don't not do it because I have a moral problem with it. I just don't do it because I don't have the time to worry about it. Like, I've got more games that I've bought like really cheap or, that I've had in my backlog to play for years. I don't need to go out of my way to pirate a game. It's because I just don't have the time to play it anyways. So it's not a moral thing for me. Here in the eastern part of Europe, we live in a different reality. Even CDPR started off as selling pirated games and bootleg. That's crazy. That is insane. Brazil's similar. Lots of different realities around the world. Yeah, no, it really is. There's a lot of things to consider, a lot of factors to take in. And then, of course, you get this statement from the PlayStation CEO on its next generation plans for the PS6, saying, rather than simply serving as an alternative to PCs, we aim to deliver value that is unique to PlayStation. This includes not only technological advancements, but also an expansion of usage styles, enabling a seamless experience that can be enjoyed naturally beyond the living room. I.e., this thing is going to be expensive as hell. Okay? So, hey, Vernum, don't tell her. Don't tell her. Ah, you did it. Did it. Yeah, if Tekla was here, we'd have one from Hungary, one from Bulgaria, and one from Poland. I think Tekla said he's in Poland. I could be wrong. So Sony on PS6 pricing made this statement just a few days ago, I believe, saying it's not realistic for us to absorb all component cost increases. Sony might be preparing consumers for sticker shock as it now says it doesn't plan to take a substantial loss on a PlayStation 6 console production. Now, this shouldn't surprise anybody. Let's see if he's still CEO, maybe. As you know, they just recently raised the price of the PS5 Pro to like $900, right? I'm pretty sure. And so it says, TLDR, Sony confirms that it will not heavily subsidize the PlayStation 6, indicating higher prices due to rising component costs. The the people that say, don't buy a PC, just buy a console. Console's cheaper. Why waste time on a PC? Just buy a console. Okay. The PS6 bill of materials, just the cost of the materials, nears $1,000, and Sony aims to balance profitability without significant losses while ensuring customers understand the console's value. Hey, Serranos, I put thousands of dollars in the video game market over my life. I'm probably a top 5 spender. If I want to pirate something, I will. Hell yeah, dude. Exactly. More power to you. Look, you know how I view that? I view that as places like the grocery store, deciding that for some weird reason in my state, because it's taboo to offer a bag to your customer, that they are going to charge you 5 to 8 cents a bag when you bag your groceries. Guess what? 99% of the time, I'm not paying that 5 cents or that 8 cents. Or if I end up with like 3 bags, I might hit the 1 button. Like, sure, I'll pay for 1 bag. I don't care. These are stores like Fred Meyer, like Costco. Costco doesn't have a bag fee because they don't bag your stuff. But like, these are places that I've given tens of thousands of dollars of my money over the last decade of my life, especially since having kids, and my kids are getting older. My grocery bill is, sky high. And I'm like, and now you're charging me 5 cents for a bag, 8 cents for a bag. Like, seriously? That's just insane. Don't buy spoon fork cheaper. Why waste money on spoon for soup? GameCube sale, something. Yeah, Lugia, 100%. And look, this is something we'll get into in a little bit here, because a lot of you're not hearing this from Xbots. I wish Cage was here, because Cage, and I'm sure he'll be here at some point if he didn't pass out already. Cage is our resident Xbot. I think there's a couple others. I can't remember if it's Joe Darkness. There's some. I know Joe Darkness is a PC guy, but I think there's a few other people who are like longtime Xbox fans who have been obviously critical of Xbox for the last couple of years because Xbox is fucking everything up. But at the same time, the only people that are really truly anti-PC tend to be PlayStation fans. Nintendo people, they don't even care. Nintendo fans are just busy playing their Nintendos. They don't even care, right? I steal fruit, meat, little plastic bags all the time. I care not. Yeah, there you go. Console fanboys, just to be clear, I'm joking. It's the worst, man. It's absolutely the worst. Yeah, so again, just the production cost alone, the parts, the materials used are going to cost close to $1,000. So what are we really realistically thinking the price of the PS6 is going to be? Like, let's be honest, guys. It's going to be insane. Well, and Angels, the thing is, because of Game Pass and, Microsoft PC, all those kind of things, I think Xbox does lend itself to having more of like a natural, like symbiotic relationship with PC users, obviously. There are still people who are like, oh, I'm not going to buy a PC. I like my Xbox, so whatever. But I think that you definitely see that with more people who are like, the anti-PC people tend to be more Sony and PlayStation. God of Hag, yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Nintendo might be the last man standing. I won't be surprised if they go full digital. Well, okay, Lugia, let's be fair. Nintendo has already gone full digital. The plastic card that you put in your Nintendo that doesn't have a game on it, that has a key that is linked to your account that only installs on one device, that requires access to the internet to finish installing, that's a digital game. Like, make no mistake about it. The reason that there was so much blowback from these key cards that Nintendo was selling when they launched the Switch 2 is because of the fact that those are just digital games. They're a physical card in name only, right? They are completely 100%. If it doesn't have the game on it, if it licenses you to play the game only through that key card, it links it to your account, you can't loan it out, you can't borrow it, you can't sell it, all those things, then it's a digital game. It might as well be, considered that. Japanese games put their game trailer on State of Play. I didn't actually watch the last State of Play. I think we talked about it on stream afterwards. I've been very busy the past few weeks. And I haven't been able to keep up with everything. Obviously, I've put out like 2 videos and 3 live streams in like the last month. Hungary was the country written on the map of Bulgaria in PS2 James Bond games. Oh my God. So what? They just fucked that up. Wagon Burner says $1,200, if not more. I imagine that if you're thinking for the PS6, $1,200, that's got to be the base version. Mind you, well, we'll get into that. It's going to be discless, right? Josh, editor, says, $1,000 to $1,200 console incoming. It's going to be more than 1,000. They're not, so that keyword there, that they're not subsidizing the cost of the console, they're not selling it at a loss. That's what that means. That's like the layman's version of it. We're selling this thing at full price. We're not going to try to make our money off the games that you're going to buy for it. We're just going to, basically, for a lack of a better way of putting it, we're going to rape you like up front, and then your games are still going to be full price. And full price is going to be minimum $70. And of course, remember, they're going to have that variable sliding scale based on whatever the variables are that they decide. Well, yeah, this game's a $40 game, this game's a $60 game, but this game's a $130 game because reasons. People will stick with their PS5, games will be cross-gen anyways. Slavicon, you're correct, but only up to a point. For example, okay, I have the Nintendo Switch. I bought it for my son. I think it was the second year it was out for Christmas, like 7 years ago, something like that. He's 13 now. I think he was 6 or I don't know, whatever. I've had it for a long time. The thing is already like having issues, and it's had issues like for years now. But I would only ever even think about buying a Switch 2 for a handful of games, like a new F-Zero game or maybe the Ocarina of Time remake, which I'm not even that hyped about, to be honest. I'm actually kind of like, I don't know, it's been so long, I'm kind of burned out on the hoping it's good. So that being said, those games are not going to be cross-generational with the Nintendo Switch 1. If you want to play those games, you got to buy the Nintendo Switch 2. There's going to be times where PlayStation does the exact same thing, where they go, well, yes, we're going to offer the first run of the PS6 games on the PS5 as well, but then it's going to end up being like, PS6 only. I remember I never bought the PS5 because it never went on sale, and yeah, dude, Oblivion, it was on sale at Costco pre-Christmas season, and then they jacked the prices up massively. So I think the PS5, I want to say the Pro with like 2 controllers and a game, I don't know, it was like $500 or $600 at Costco on sale during the Christmas season, and now it's like $950 for just like what, 1 controller. You think the Switch 2 would run better games than the Switch 1, or on the Switch 1? I mean, do I think the Switch 1 games would run better on the 2? 100%. Mahendra, I only saw the one, buddy. I saw the one about the state of play. I responded to that, dude. Let me see. The Pierce Brosnan game. I think I'm the only person on the planet who doesn't like Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. All right, so this kind of goes into the fact that they are dropping discs in the future, right? So that's kind of where this all has led to. People pre-ordering a digital-only game, people buying a game that says it's a physical copy, but it's just a download key for $100, all this shit. That's where we are now, which is where the announcement came out yesterday that everyone's been melting down about, rightfully so, that Sony will stop producing discs for new PlayStation games in 2028. Now, the crazy thing about this is assuming even that the PlayStation 6 comes out in 2028. This might not even mean for PlayStation 6 games. This could mean for PlayStation 5 if the timeline in my head is working out correctly, because we are halfway through 2026. Like, where's the cutoff, right? You're in an island with that one? Only one on the planet? I don't like Pierce Brosnan. I really don't. Hey, door girl. I've never liked Pierce Brosnan. I can't stand him. So for me, you know what it was? They might have, Mahendra. What it was, I think, was the very first thing that I saw Pierce Brosnan in as a child. Believe it or not, I think this is where this all started, was Mrs. Doubtfire. And he played the boyfriend of the ex-wife of Sally Field, who's the mom in the movie. You know, her and Robin Williams break up, and she gets custody of the kids, and he has to pretend to be the nanny just to see his own children. And Pierce Brosnan is like the sleazy, slimy boyfriend character. And I think, honestly, that is where... I think that's where my resentment for him started, because I was just a kid when that movie came out, and I was really terrified at that point of my parents getting divorced, which, you know, spoiler alert, they did at some point. He had to play a jerk, yeah. Vanillaware is putting games on PC. Seems like they're abandoning console. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me either. Think the games they announced on Summer's Game Fest would all be digital? I mean, Lucia, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised by anything. Like, let's be honest, nothing that happens from this point forward, anybody should be shocked by. It doesn't mean that you can't be angry about it. Doesn't mean that people can't make videos talking about it. Doesn't mean that people can't, create rage content about it. It's definitely worthy of being angry about. It just shouldn't surprise anybody, So that's the thing. Nobody should be surprised by it. Been announced by Sony that they'll stop producing discs for new PlayStation games in 2028 as the PS6 release date looms. No more PlayStation discs, effective January 2028. No longer be producing discs for its PlayStation games. Now, again, like, I'm going to say Persona 6 page live on Steam. Oh, I haven't even seen that. Just the crazy thing about it is, like Lucia mentioned earlier, it's not just, going to fuck over people who just want to own games physically. There's a whole market of, like, mom and pop shops, or even, like, look, GameStop still exists, right? But my local GameStop closed. And here's the thing. I used to buy physical games there. I know that people like Asmongold are like, well, nobody buys physical. Look, I don't buy physical for computer, for PC, because it doesn't exist. Oh, sure, one game released, a year ago that may have had a physical disc I could have bought. Okay. 99% of the games, I'd say 99.9% of the games that are currently like on Steam, on PC, that come out every year, don't have a physical version, especially not if they're indie games. They can't afford to do that, right? So there's no choice. If you're playing PC and you want to play PC games, you're going to be playing them through a digital storefront. That's kind of a given. But I still own 2 Xboxes and a Nintendo Switch. I absolutely still buy physical games. But all the stores around me, there's no one that sells physical games. I can buy them on Amazon. I can buy them anywhere else that sells games. Like, I'll still look at the Nintendo Switch games at Target. I'll still look at, like, the Xbox games or whatever. But I preferred to buy my games used. I spent a shitload of money at Game Crazy before they closed down years ago when I was a teenager. And so GameStop for me was the next obvious place to shop. Burner, my PC did have a disk drive in it. I took it out a couple times to try to make room for other stuff. When I rebuilt it in this case, I'm like, this case doesn't have room for a disk drive. And frankly, I don't have a reason to have a disk drive. If more games were available on disk for PC, I absolutely would buy them on disc. All of them? Probably not, but most of them aren't going to be on PC. Not going to see Masamune? Is that how you pronounce that blade on PS5? I don't even know what that is, man. Huh. Okay, so moving forward. Moving forward, it is crazy. Nick Tech shared this video. I'm sure most of you remember seeing. It says the importance of physical discs. Oh, he put dicks. Physical discs. Explained by Sony themselves 13 years ago.
When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
Look at that lie that they sold. Now, at the time, they probably didn't mean it to be a lie. Trade in games at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. Guys, has the world really changed that much in the last 13 years? It's insane. Biggest JRPG company, yes. Like Atlas is going on PC means something is wrong with PlayStation platform. Well, again, it's the reality that PlayStation... I mean, look, Tim Sweeney wants to cry and whine about PlayStation or Steam having a monopoly, when the reality is, at least on PC, there are, what, four stores, at least, and that doesn't include anybody that has their own launcher where you can buy games from. You got Windows, Steam, GOG, and Epic. Now, nobody likes Epic. There's not enough games on GOG, but that's still 4 options, right? I'll be happily playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag discless on my PC. Yeah, and and again, it's not going to be something that everyone has to worry about. So I think long term, is there going to be a problem with the potential, like what this could mean down the road? Absolutely, and I'll get into that later on as we kind of talk about like the PlayStation side of it versus the PC side of it. We'll get to that. 13 years ago, I was graduating from school. I don't even remember 13 years ago.
When a game...
Let me see here. And then, of course, there's also that video where they talked about how to share it on the PS4, I believe it was. Kind of like mocking Xbox, talking about getting rid of physical media or whatnot. Larry Bundy reworked it through Grok. Said, I thought I'd update that infamous PlayStation promo, so instead you've got this one here.
No borrowing for you, bitch! Digital only now!
It would be funny if it wasn't so sad and true. Oh my god. So the thing is, Oblivion, G2A Instant Gaming, G2A actually rebranded. They changed their name, I think. But yeah, there's like a dozen of those key stores that you can purchase stuff through, but those all go back to... So, for example, let me make my point where you can actually see it. So you go Instant Gaming, you go PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, right? So PC, you can buy them for Steam, you can buy it for the EA app, Rockstar, Epic. Okay, so Battle.net, Microsoft Store, Ubisoft Connect. Now, nobody's going to be using Battle.net or Ubisoft Connect or NCSoft or the Microsoft Store ahead of like these other like Steam or Epic. I mean GOG. I say Steam, GOG, Epic, right? Those 3 there. But you can still buy the key for the PlayStation Store through, of course, a different, like a third-party site. But these are still going to take you back to the PlayStation Store. Sure, they're going to have some games available, right? Recently added. Let's look at the PlayStation games for PlayStation 5 available on Instant Gaming. That's it. There's your games. Itch.io. Yeah, itch.io, exactly. So... if you want to be like, well, I'm going to save money and go buy my PlayStation game on a third-party site, that's great. That's awesome. Look at that. You got the Deluxe Edition upgrade for 007 for only $13. You got Doom the Dark Ages Premium upgrade for $20. That's it. Unless you want to buy Cricket 24 for $20. They don't have anything else. Steam, whole different story. And again, you can also buy it directly through Steam on sale. Steam has, sometimes I'll look at these games on Instant Gaming and go, it's actually cheaper to buy it through Steam. And then, of course, you don't have to buy it through Steam. You can do GOG or whatever your preferred launcher is, right? So if you look at the actual difference in the total amount of games available for Steam versus, let's just go trending, let's go pre-orders, bestsellers, recently added, where's all? View all. Oh, I don't want to go by category. Oh my God, that's too many. They've got Cricket 24. I don't care about cricket. I don't. I couldn't care less about soccer, and I absolutely could not care about cricket. my point is that even if you buy a key through a third-party site, you're going to be extremely limited for what you can purchase from your Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox on those third-party sites. The best thing you can do is get like the gift card, the subscription cards through a third-party site versus everywhere else. So you're still going to be limited. All right, going back here. This is what GTA 4 Special Edition looked like. Oh my God, these are relics, okay? These are going to be things of the past that no one's ever going to see again.
Bankruptcy!
Sweeney has no one else to blame but
My son gives
himself for the
crickets to
failure
his
of
frog.
Epic. He had
I
so
used to
much
have
time
those.
to create a platform to compete with Steam. Lazy effer.
Lazy effer indeed, Smeg, 1000%. No, it's the craziest thing, man. I've never seen somebody act like such a bitter, like, ex-girlfriend when the man is a, billionaire? Sweeney, obviously, he's got a shitload of money. He's sitting on Fortnite, one of the most successful live service games of all time. It has made countless billions of dollars, probably. And yet his launcher sucks. His store sucks. He gives away free games, day after day, week after week, year after year, and nobody wants his shit. It's the craziest thing. It is absolutely insane. Thank you for the 5, though, Smeg. I'm going to hit you up with one more of these bad boys here. Here you go.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring. No, in real life.
I swear to God, eventually that clip is going to get me in trouble. Eventually it's going to be like, we flagged your account for violent threats or threats of harm. It's like, it's a meme. Bankruptcy's been declared, absolutely. Doesn't want to compete. He just wants the spotlight. He's a drama queen. I swear to God. Tim Sweeney's either got like main character syndrome or I don't know what it is, man. More like Sam Hyde's going to kill physical media. Yeah. So here you go. This is what the GTA 4 Special Edition looked like. Like, I never bought anything this ornate. Like, this is crazy. How much was this? Does anybody know? Yeah, way too cool for school. Dude, a soundtrack. Oh, and the tote bag, of course. Oh, this just have to download the game? Oh my God. Yeah, I've never seen this either. Why is the San Andreas music playing? I have no idea. I didn't make the video. I mean, this is pretty awesome, right? If you're going for like a swag bag collector's edition type thing, and I'm not even a GTA guy. I don't care. The GTA franchise means nothing to me as a franchise, but this is cool. Like, this is really awesome stuff here, you know? The best I ever got was like my steel Halo 2 case. It's like, ooh, right, you know? Like, I don't think I've ever bought a single like collector's edition type thing in my life, other than like digital shit, you know? But it's like, you know, the Halo 2 one, you've got the metal steel case, right? And I think it's a 2-disc set because they had it's got the, is it 2-disc game and the maps on thing? I can't remember. But, you know, it's back in the day when you still had like a booklet in there and stuff. Granted, it's nothing fancy. It's just an instruction booklet and a metal case, but I mean, it's still cool. It's still something you can display. It's still something you can say, I've sunk hundreds of hours into this game and I liked it enough that I bought it, you know, collector's edition. So but yeah, that is like next level. I can't imagine what that cost, you know? Thought it was odd that Wolverine did not have any special editions, but now we know. Oh my God. That's what it gave you, the feels? Yeah, it's great. It's really awesome. I think it's gonna be worth a lot of money. Well, I mean, I think this was done back in the day. You can see the like on the display behind the guy, he's got a bunch of like, you know, ton of collector stuff back there, obviously. We had the disc games on PC for ages. Yeah. I mean, Mahendra, it certainly felt like they respected the customers back then more. And you know, it was mainly because of the fact it was who was making the games and what the target audience was and what they, you know, were making them for. Snake Eater, Halo, and GTA Vice City remake. Dude, I just found out that the Halo Campaign Evolved comes out like this month or something. I'm not even bothering. I don't care. I'm not blaying that shit. Special edition for Dragon's Crown PS4, Japanese used. That thing's cool. I don't know. Was there a GTA 5 Collector's Edition? I have no idea. It's a great question, though. So here's where we get into Asmongold's questionable takes on this. Now, mind you, this is nothing new. Asmongold has had terrible takes before, and a lot of people are either like, "Oh, he's so based," or "Oh, he's such a grifter." It's like I look at Asmongold as he's an entertainer. I don't value his opinion more than anybody else's. It's just a matter of like he's got a larger platform, so he says what he says, and sometimes you can agree with it, and sometimes you can think he's retarded. These are one of those times I think he's retarded, but whatever. And it could be the fact that he's, I mean, look, he's the embodiment. He's like a human cockroach, and he barely has to do anything but, you know, stream, eat, do his podcast, do his live stream, and that's it. Plays video games till 2 o'clock in the morning, probably later than that, and then he rinse and repeat. Not rinse, just repeat. So here's the clip. It's like a minute and a half long. There was a shorter one. We'll see if there's anything different on that one either. So here was the sound bite here.
I think they're making the right decision. I think that they realize that nobody's buying physical media anymore, and it's not worth distributing, producing, and shipping out all of these copies because people just aren't buying them. If you want to ask and you want to wonder why this is happening, it's your
sometimes,
fault.
Mahendra.
It's my fault. It's our fault. If I'm wrong, then why are GameStops full of Funko Pops? Is somebody saying it's Israel's fault? There's a chance that Israel could be involved in this. There's definitely a high probability, probably between like 80 and 90% chance this is because of Israel. I think that we need to go back to having collector's editions and cool boxes like Warcraft 2. And if you want to have that, I think that you need to be selling these at like a... You need to sell them at a, and I know the company isn't going to want to hear this. You need to sell them at a loss. You need to sell.
Explain this to me. This is where I'm confused. I want to see the entire segment of the stream. Clipping whatever his thoughts were into a minute and a half, and we're only 56 seconds in. He says it's the smart decision to get rid of physical media because nobody's buying it. First off, that's false. There are actually reports that came out where they said apparently there were some games on PS6 that were a split 50-50 physical and digital. Now you can say, well, digital games don't cost as much to produce, obviously because they're digital files. Sure, that's not the argument. If you want to reduce the price of digital games and make physical games cost more, then you can kind of have an apples to oranges conversation. But if you're going to charge the same for both, I don't want to hear you bitch about what it costs to make a physical copy of a game when you've never given people a deal on digital. If that makes sense to you guys, right? Then he turns around and says, what they should do is make collector's editions and sell them at a loss. I don't understand his thought process. They're already not making physical games affordable for the company because it's not productive, because people aren't buying them. So then you should turn around and the physical copies you do release, make it a collector's edition and sell it at a loss. Does that make sense to anybody else? I mean, I'm not quite understanding. The two trains of thought are running on separate tracks, in my opinion. He's getting more gross to look at. Hey, Tekla. How about gamers had no choice because the companies went in the direction that they did and we had no say in it? I mean, it's a really strange take, right? I already knew his opinion on it before watching the video. Don't watch him to always agree with him. Oh yeah, Vernum, he'll say plenty of things I disagree with, you know. He's entitled to his opinions. I just think some of them are really, like, fucking retarded. Old boxes were another form of marketing that worked wonders. For real. Did you put something... I'm telling you guys, you put something in a fancy box, fancy wrapping of some kind, people love it, okay? Half the fun of getting computer parts is keeping the box because the box is so cool, right? Getting the box and unpacking them. You take a picture of all your boxes of parts together. His ego grew too much. Yeah, I mean, how do you have the platform he has and not have an ego, you know? All right, no worries, Empress. I'll be here. probably, what time is? Yeah, I'll be here for a while. I'm not going anywhere. They should be handled like Kickstarter campaigns, stretch goals and stuff, only manufacturing as many as was ordered. But Vernum, okay, we're talking like companies that are like AAA publishers. Do they really need to worry about kickstarting something like that? I don't know. I don't believe he was talking about collector's editions, but he cost of producing these boxes. See, why is that stuck? That's what I'm saying, is like, I would have loved to see the entire clip rather than just trying to figure out, because this feels like two separate thoughts that were completely crammed together in the same video, you know?
Them at a loss and sell maybe a limited amount of them, make it to where you can't buy 50 million of them on the internet. 8 million copies,
But why would you make it to where, I mean, I understand you want to sell something as a collector's edition. It's essentially worth more if you sell less of them. But if they thought they could sell 8 million of them, why wouldn't they just make 8 million and sell them? I'm so confused. Most games don't even fit on a disc. I mean, that is also the thing. I saw Fertanga talking about that. He's like, well, you know, technically, the storage for the games probably isn't going to be big enough for most of these games to fit on a disc anyways. The problem then gets into storage costs on computers, on console, the digital games being taken away. Like, it's a two-part process. Physical discs going away sucks for people who like to collect physical discs. And on the other side, it's the fact that we need digital protections for our games, right? And it seems like with the whole Stop Killing Games thing getting kicked to the curb, it's most of them will fit on disc. Dude, I haven't thought about... Oh, no worries, Mahendra. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. I haven't thought about how many like gigabytes are on a disc in years. I've got somewhere in here, I've got a stack of blank CDs that I've had for probably the last 25 years. I don't even know if any of them have degraded at this point to where I can't actually burn onto them if I wanted to. I don't know how long these things last, you know? DRM's been implemented on PlayStation, yeah. We talk about them handling it like that because they've absolutely retarded with budgets, yeah. I bought a used PC and stared at it like a hot date in my car when coming home. Memories. Is that for real, dude? That's what I'm saying, is you put something in a nice box, people are going to buy it, you know? There's a handful that push plus 100 gigabytes and they're compressed on the discs anyways. That is true. That is a thing. And I've got the Resident Evil 4 GameCube edition that you had to finish half the game on the first disc and then switch to the second disc. Trust me, I know. I had those, man. 1000%.
So where's the actual percentage? The vast majority of sales were digital, with physical contributing to a smaller share.
I think that whole, well, we sold more digital than physical, so screw physical is a pathetic, weak argument. And the reason for that, like I said before, we have not gotten a deal or a price break on digital games, since their inception, right? Physical games are always the one that you can buy and resell cheaper, right? So if we're talking like, okay, because physical games cost more and because, you know, distribution costs more, we'll give you a bigger price break on digital to buy digital so we have less physical floating out there. It's like, well, that's never been the case. No one has ever done that. Sure, on Steam sales, third-party keys, you can find games on sale, but that's not a base price break. That is a specific, like a seasonal sale or some sort of clearance or whatever. It's not, again, you're not comparing apples to oranges in these two situations here. Final Fantasy VII came out on 3 discs and 1 install disc. Yeah, I think Diablo 2, I've got kicking around back here somewhere, had 4 discs, I'm pretty sure. 1 was just to run the game, and I think the other 3 were to install everything else. PS5's disc never worked, and I didn't even know until a few years ago that it was broken. Oh my god. We follow the trend by cutting customers' choice. Whose fucking trend is that? It's pretty awful, man. The Xbox 360 game of Lost Odyssey, the monster of a game, was on 4 dual-layer DVD discs. That is insane, man. Yeah, no, even if it wasn't in a box, man, there's nothing like that new PC. I don't even care if it's a used PC. For you, it was a new PC. That new PC feeling,
what
you know?
Was the percentage of physical? Likely in the low to mid single-digit percentage range of total copies sold.
Now, I want to clarify something here. As somebody who has used Grok compared to things like ChatGPT, Grok is fucking retarded, okay? Let's be fair. When it comes to like image generation, data analysis, I understand Google's going to lean towards a certain demographic at a certain talking point 9 times out of 10. I understand that from like a political lens. But when it comes to like an AI, just the sheer intelligence of the artificial intelligence, Grok is like a toddler. I know that they're all retarded, wise ass duck, but Grok, I have noticed between Grok and ChatGPT, Grok gets basically 99% of the things wrong. All the time. It's so bad, dude. Reason newer games don't fit on discs, the files aren't compressed as much as they should be. Ralgor, you could ask Wise Ass Duck. He's gonna know a lot more about that than me, but I believe you're on the right track there as far as like, I mean, optimization is a separate topic, and again, we're getting out of my wheelhouse. I don't want to speak to things that I know nothing about when it comes to that. So that was essentially the take. I can't stand that retard. In fact, I don't intend to. You know, like I said, if there's a slow day at work where I have nothing else to listen to or watch, I'll toss this stream on if it's something. Oh, don't worry, Tekla. We're almost done with the Asmongold stuff. There's far more of like the PlayStation response, the PlayStation fanboy response to all this stuff than Asmongold. So he followed it up. This is just a 20-second clip of this. He followed it up saying, "Long post, sorry. The fixation around physical media is a red herring." Yeah, Iverno, they all mess up. I know that they're all sus. All the AIs have their failings. I watched a video a few years ago where they talked about COD files, which were huge due to non-compression. Yeah, there's something to that, dude. For real. He says, people who obtained physical copies of Crimson Desert early weren't able to play it because the PS5 locked them out of playing it. Okay. That's not an issue with physical media. That's an issue with PlayStation. You can look this up, multiple articles about the topic. Clearly, physical media didn't save you then, and it won't save you in a... Okay, I can tell you right now, without even going through this entire essay that he typed, this is him blackpilling as he's always done. This is like when him and Mudahar were both like, well, you know, guys, ID verification sucks, but it's gonna be what's gonna happen, so we just gotta deal with it. Yes, I understand that we all really kind of have to deal with it, but I don't like the whole mentality of just throwing in the towel and saying, well, that's just the way things are, just suck it up. I don't know. All of them are boot-looking yes men. Let me see. Tried PS Plus for a year and it was such a waste of money. JG, Game Pass can be like that from time to time. There are situations where Game Pass for a couple of months is fantastic, and there are times where the rest of the year it's like, why am I paying for this? It's a case-by-case basis. It really is.
Bankruptcy!
Bankruptcy!
Most AI are just LLMs. They pattern match the query to predict what comes next. Also, Memba games used to come out complete. No first day DL
oh my god,
needed.
Smeg. I have had this argument with people online multiple times over the past month, and thank you for the 5, dude. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. I was not even sure if anybody would show up for this stream, guys, to be honest. Like, I've been so out of the loop right now. I've been so busy with life, with my wife and my kids and sports and her surgery and everything. I'm like, I don't even know if anyone even remembers that I still exist. So appreciate all of you guys, even just for hanging. There was this guy that wanted to argue about, like, well, yeah, but you know, even if you buy a physical disc, or even if that, you're going to have patches and this and that. And it's like, no, you don't have to have patches if the game comes out complete. If the game release is not broken as a finished product, you know, like we used to do for like 20 years and didn't require a day one patch to work, then no, you don't. Astrobot was the only exclusive. Yeah, dude, honestly, JG, people that want to argue that PlayStation's appeal is their exclusives, these are people who don't understand that PC has like 20,000 exclusives. But, you know, obviously a lot of those are going to be shovelware and a lot of this can be slop, and you're going to have to figure out what's good and what's not. But that's the beauty of it. 2-hour return window on Steam, multiple sales throughout the course of the year, all this shit, you know? They used retarded source material to train up the AI models. Well, that would be a thing, wouldn't it?
I declare
Smeg.
bankruptcy!
Busy with the wife, giggity.
My god, dude, oh my god, that's so far from the last thing that's ever gonna happen right now. My god, dude. And you know, as much of a horn dog as I am, I can't even fathom trying to bark up that tree for a while until she's recovered, dude. So no, not busy like that. It was crazy because she had, okay, so I'll give you a little bit of backstory. She had her surgery on Sunday, and was it Sunday? Yes. Sunday. Yeah, because I took Okay, so Monday, I took Monday off from work and I stayed home. So Saturday night, it's like midnight. She's in so much pain that I have to take her to the emergency room. She can't talk. She can't breathe. It's bad. And so we get there, and within 3 to 4 hours, they've had her from the front desk into the triage and then into a temporary room. And then by 5 in the morning, she was in a room upstairs. I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like, they did an amazing job getting her into a room. But then it's like, her parents eventually come by. I have to go home back and forth, check on the kids. I got like 2 hours of sleep on Saturday night. I then had to turn around Sunday and drive my kid to another All-Star game on no sleep, take care of the kids, feed them, check on the wife. And this was post-surgery. So her surgery was right at the same time as my son's final game, I think it was. So I'm losing track of time. I'm trying to remember all these things. Okay, sorry, she was home. Yeah. Long story short, I'm completely like, my brain is fried, dude. Because it was like a weekend of her surgery, emergency stuff, no sleep. I was basically like a single dad for like 3 days and trying to work and trying to get my kids to where they had to go. So it's bad. Just need some foreplay. Oh my God. You guys are sick. You guys are sick. This is why I'm just done talking about this. I can't even remember what day she had her surgery, and I'm not even kidding, guys. I'm like, wait a second, was it Monday? Was it Tuesday? What were we doing Tuesday? I don't know where I was on Tuesday. You know, Smeg, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of answering that one. I'm not going to. Let's just say for me, I wouldn't enjoy it if the other person just laid there. I'm not into necrophilia. I'm not into anything where somebody's like a dead fish. Just not for me, man. All right, so here he goes. He says, clearly physical media didn't save you then, and it won't save you when a licensing agreement expires and a game will no longer run on your software until you download an update that might remove features or content. He's talking about issues that are not specific to physical media alone, but have become a problem with the way that the entire industry runs. This is why some cultures have multiple wives. Facts, man. Facts. Okay. A good example of this, ironically, is Mixtape, because the game has a large amount of licensed music. It's plausible that one of those contracts will expire. No, it... Anybody in the class want to explain to Asmongold why what he just said is fucking retarded? Does anybody remember the whole story about Mixtape being an indie game? They have perpetual licenses. The music is not going to expire. Bad. This is like me on Discord. Hey, Avernum, you remember when I was making the comparison between Kojima and Cuckman? He's an idiot for someone who's online all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's just overexposure. So he's just, yeah, indie game, exactly. He's just mixing up his games. But like, dude, that was part of the entire scandal of that game was it had perpetual licenses. Like, okay. It's plausible that one of those contracts will expire and a patch will be pushed that removes the song from the game. If you don't download the patch, you will no longer be able to access or play the game. Physical media isn't the holy grail. Consumer rights and protections is. Okay. Full stop. He's not wrong about the whole consumer rights thing. Because again, we all on Steam feel like, oh, Steam's never going to screw us over. Steam's never going to stab us in the back. Steam has all these things. They're going to make sure the games stay online even if they shut the game down, right? Yeah. Guy's brain is scrambled eggs. That's why games such as Guitar Hero imploded massively. The Guitar Hero, did they pull the some of the music off there? I can't remember. I never was interested in Guitar Hero. Steam will. Steam will eventually. Because, look, Gabe's not going to live forever. And who knows what the next person who's the owner, CEO of the company, or the shareholders, or whatever, have to say about, like, how Steam handles this business, right? Why aren't we using Apple lightning cables and we're using USB-C instead? It's not because of Apple, it's because of the EU. Well, it's because USB-C is superior to Apple lightning cables. I hate Apple products. While PC players have more workarounds for this issue, console players are at the mercy of updates they have no choice but to accept. That's true. But that's also all games that have updates to run, you have to run the updates. Like, at least in terms of if I'm playing a game on Steam and it says, you must update this to play it. Well, how am I supposed to play without the update? Am I just being retarded? Can I not update the game and still play it? I might just be being retarded. So helpful to have 2 extra people sharing life stuff. Oh my god, for real, man. One of those posts you get from a girlfriend where you just reply K. Oh my god, dude. This is one of those times where I'm just like that whole, I'm not reading all that, but I'm sorry it happened, or congratulations, you know. Next owner will be Glad OS. Mark my words, there's no way Valve isn't working on its own AI privately. And EU regulations sort of forced Apple to change them. You know, the whole thing is like with the whole Apple charger thing versus the USB-C. I'm like, I don't care what charger Apple uses, provided that like you can buy the charger for their products. The same way that if my Android phone wanted to switch the adapter on the bottom of the phone from like the USB-C to a different different port, as long as I can buy the cable or it comes with one, I don't care which one I use. Yeah, the only morons that they're fucking over are the gambling morons for CS skins. Yeah. They actually helped develop the USB-C specifically for their MacBook. Oh, that's right. They were using it for their MacBook, and then they had to be allowed to put it on. Was it that that Samsung Android phones had to be allowed to use the USB-C? Is that what that was? I can't remember if that it was like an Apple proprietary technology or some shit like that. As somebody who's never used Apple products, I just don't care. Let me see here. The convenience of digital downloads should not be viewed as a forfeiture of consumer protections. Again, I think the problem is he's looking at this as a PC-specific issue rather than a PS6 or an Xbox-specific issue, okay? The reason why record labels still sell vinyls is because people still buy vinyls. While there are sure some people who still purchase video games physically, I would guess that number is decreasing every year, sure. If physical copies were popular, GameStop would still have video games in it instead of Funko Pops and t-shirts. I know this is an unpopular take to have, but you can't expect companies to keep making physical editions of games if not enough people are buying them. Biggest scam is HDMI. Explain. Because I own about 30 HDMI cables. What is the scam about HDMI? I need to know this. Some games you can download an older version, but it still seems to force updates, which is annoying. If I need an update, I'll download it, plus the waste of their data. Yeah. My point with all this is a lot of people's concern and frustration comes from the lack of control they have over the media they own. Physical media does not solve this problem when it's at the mercy of running software. Software running the console or game launcher. If you want to solve the problem, you should support initiatives like Stop Killing Games. Yeah, the issue with this, and I think, again, it's a multifaceted, multi-part issue. One, physical discs should have never required an internet connection to play because they should have always had the game ready to launch when they launched the game. That's a whole separate issue than digital-only games, right? Then, of course, you have the games that launch broken, that require patches. No, if we had physical games that were launching, HDMI is like a cartel. The other one is open source. Well, so for example, like my one of my monitors I use through DisplayPort, the other one I have through HDMI. I don't understand. The company's name is HDMI. The cost to add HDMI support to create devices is crazy, like cartel levels, which display. Oh my god. Oh, so that's the long version of what Oblivion just said. That's crazy, dude. I didn't even have any idea. I did not know that. That is insane. That is wild. That's like that, nah, this is wild meme.
Big corporations are only interested in making money. Wise words from Pissed Pablo,
$7
aka
Sanchez.
$7
Oh my
Sanchez.
God.
Or Angry Joe if you felt generous.
Oh my god, $7 Sanchez. I'm going to use that. I've seen Pissed Pablo before. I have not seen $7 Sanchez. That shit is incredible. Oh my god. I only found out a couple years ago. I had never heard that. That is insane. That is amazing. Wow. I think I got rid of the Melanie Mac thing, hopefully. I hope I got rid of the Melanie Mac thing. Here's what I got to say for Asmongold. Y'all ready for this one?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now, I will say I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, because I don't think it was the stupidest. I don't think it was the stupidest thing Asmongold could have said. And he's not wrong that at the point we are at now, consumer protection is definitely the priority. The problem I have is to say, fuck physical media, because it's not physical anyway, so who cares? I just, that doesn't sit well with me. I have such a problem with that, right? I was going to charge back if you played Mac. Yeah, he's still crying about it being a terrible movie. I know he is. All right. So, of course, you had people responding. Mr. Obvious saying this is an absolute cope argument. Physical media is a massive industry, and the only reason tons of games even still exist, preservation. Storage requirements are also becoming bloated while hardware costs are skyrocketing. Imagine only being able to fit 1 to 2 games on your $500 console or a $1,500 PC. Imagine companies being able to... Oh, that's another thing, guys. Memory has gotten insane. I sent that message and YouTube died on me. Oh my God. YouTube is mad at you, man. Yeah, memory is a massive issue for a lot of consumers, right? I mean, I need another M2 drive, and I can't even imagine what that's going to cost me at this point if I wanted more like a 2 terabyte. It's probably insane. Imagine companies being able to take away games you paid for because screw you. Imagine being banned or blocked and losing access to all your games. Imagine companies patching and censoring games because woke, etc. This is utterly anti-consumer bullshit. That at the very least should lower the cost of games, but it won't. And that's, again, the part of my thing. It's like, dude, for real, we should at least be able to have cheaper games when they launch if they're digital only. You know? Don't be like a Blithine. Remember to like the stream. Hell yeah, guys, like the stream. Hit subscribe. Share it around. Buy some tea. I'm going to be gone for like a total of like another week combined, like before I actually get another video made or some shit. So I'm not getting any ad revenue next month. So do something. There you go. There's my 5 seconds of DSP whining and self-indulgence. Now I'm going to go back to my normal docile self who doesn't say any of that shit. Supergirl popcorn cup. Oh my God, it looks so terrible, dude. It looked like a freaking like dick being peeled apart. It looked like when they do like those trans surgeries and they cut the penis down. Okay, I'm not. Okay. I don't want to talk about that. Anyways, says an utterly impractical in this day and age, in the era of AI and data centers, SSDs and storage is increasingly out of reach for normal everyday people. Doesn't serve the customer, only the company who wants to save on costs at the customer's expense. Asmongold has my utmost respect for reading the Grooming Gang inquiry on livestream, but this take is a massive L. You will own nothing, I'll be happy. And again, Asmongold's response to this, playing devil's advocate, would be, well, you don't own those physical games anyways. It's just a licensed key, the same as the digital game. The physical key still requires the internet, still requires patches. But again, why are we accepting that as normal, right? Please, pirate the F out everything, never give them any money, even if they're good studios. I mean, dude, Tekla, I mean... What else? What other choice is there? You know? You have no idea. DDR2 is now facing shortages. Great! Yeah, so I'm just going to have to keep playing like musical chairs. I think it was Cage who said that on Discord with my memory for my games. I mean, luckily, I no longer have a data cap with Comcast, so I can download as much shit as I want to. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, dude, offline games would be the way to go. For real. Again, the argument, though, that why buy physical because it doesn't... That's like, we've given up on physical, and I hate that, you know? Okay, Dan Vask responding, because he's like, yeah, show me the last 10 games you've bought physically. And he's like, last 10 games that I bought last month. There you go, Roachman. What am I hearing? Sounds like a buzzing. Is there a bug in my office? I hope not. Used to pirate everything, but my problem is multiplayer co-op games, which pirate versions rarely have working multiplayer, if ever, if you just play single-player piracy all the way. I mean, here's the thing, guys. I play a couple of multiplayer games that are my go-to games, and then everything else I play is basically single-player. You know? Decembro says, once again, another dog shit gaming take from the same genius who brought us Veilguard is a 7 out of 10. Avowed... Decembro's not holding back on this one. Avowed is also a 7 out of 10. Mixtape is too a 7 out of 10. There's a couple more on the shelf behind me. Dark Souls Trilogy, Baldur's Gate 3, Hell is Us, etc. Spare us the funneled PC boy take. Consoles aren't PCs. There were reasons why they were advantageous for some users. This was one of them. Stick to yapping about Iran and Israel and 2%ers instead of running defense for shit practices like a corpo cuck. Oh my god. Dude, I knew that Dez had something spicy to say. I didn't realize he went so hard, man. Holy shit. Also, it wasn't just an advantage for us, it was an advantage for everyone through market balance. This is kind of what I want to get to, talking about the PC versus console situation. PC, you can always find things on sale because digital marketplaces and multiple storefronts, whereas PlayStation, Xbox, you buy digitally. they're always going to be like, okay, well, you're going to pay what you're going to pay. Occasionally be on sale, but if you don't buy physical in store where you can get a cheaper deal on it or buy used, you're stuck paying whatever we charge you digitally, right? So, that being said, it does create this sense of parity, a sense of balance, where people can balance, their console games, their PC games, and honestly, here's one thing that I think is a possible, crazy conspiracy theory of mine down the road, is if all PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo games all go digital only, and there's no longer a physical marketplace to shop from, and digital prices get locked where they're never really a good deal, is that going to trickle into the PC market? Now, I know PC, we still have different, Steam, GOG, Epic, all those different launchers, but is it going to affect us over here where we're used to enjoying the variety of places and the variety of sales? Is there some trickle down that's going to infect the actual price of games on PC? I don't know. Again, that could just be wild conspiracy theory. You're fucked the moment you download a digital game on PS5? Yeah. Yeah, you can refund most games on PC, exactly. I own 2 1 terabytes and 4 512 gigabyte micro SD cards for my Steam Deck back when they cost half this price they do on Amazon. Yeah. Yeah, no, Sony never gives refunds. It's the craziest thing. That's why you always know it's bad, man. Asmon asked Vast, the retro man, to show his last games. He really has no idea. Well, he didn't ask him specifically. He just asked a generic question of, well, you guys who want to defend physical media, show me the last 10 physical games you bought. The whole argument is nobody buys physical games. And sure, I don't buy physical games because the game store near me closed. Up until a year or two ago, I would still buy games for Nintendo and Xbox for my kids at my local GameStop. They closed. So yes, do I buy them for my computer? No, because they don't sell computer games. Guys, come on. We all know the reality is 99.9% of computer games never make it to disc. We're not talking about PC games. So people who do this where they want to conflate it to PC games are digital. We're not talking about PC games. We're talking console. He said also it wasn't just an advantage for us, it was an advantage for everyone through market balance, because if a publisher refused to drop a game's price after a year, where do you go? You go to a game store where it's already down $30, case in fucking point. I did this also with Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders currently right now, a game that's it's creeping up on a year old. Launch price of $40, has been on sale multiple times on PC for $30. Right now on PlayStation Store, $40. On Steam, $30. There you go. So here you have it. Amazon, physical copy, $25 for Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, $70 on PlayStation at the exact same time. Now again, PlayStation will never sell this game for $25. That's just a reality, I never bought a game I wasn't sure of, so I was never in a situation where I wanted to return on PS5. To be fair, I never bought many games in the current, let's say last 10 years, current last 2 generations of games, where I was like, oh, I shouldn't have bought this. This game is shit. There were a lot. I bought a lot of GameCube games. I've got them in a tote over here. I don't even display them because they're ass. I bought a ton of GameCube games like Game Crazy that were terrible games, but they were cheap. I know, Smeg, there's 5, dude. There's 5 or 6 games. Super Citizen Edition on PS5, had a buddy of mine who got it for me on Steam, and then I found out I couldn't refund the game I never even launched. Oh my god, dude, that's insane. That is wild. Kata says he's not spitting facts because the argument about corporate greed and ownership, not how many physical games have you bought. Regardless if you do or don't, you shouldn't be forced to do either, and I think having the cheaper option locked off forever is pretty scummy. Now again, using examples of pricing on physical media, you could make the argument, but you don't own these games anyway, so what does it matter? Well, if I'm not going to own the game anyways, I'd rather buy it on the disc if I'm not owning it for $32.75 than for $70. Oh, but of course you got it included with PlayStation Plus Extra. So you can shave off the $70, but then it just kind of gets added back on the longer you pay for those memberships, right? It's just crazy. People acting like it's a confusing... Oh, actually, let me grab this real quick. I know I have a few more bookmarks. Let me pull these up real. We're not even going to get through all these tabs. This is taking forever. But I did have a couple that were more pertinent that I wanted to get to because... I got another one from Dez that's a response to Asmon, because Asmon goes off again, acting like he doesn't understand what the problem is, which doesn't really surprise me. It's one thing if you just don't get something. It's another thing if you genuinely come at it from a I don't mind because I've got so much money, so who cares kind of situation, which I think is the approach he's taken. So don't worry, Tekla, we're not going to play the clip. I'll just summarize what he says here, because they actually have the text here on the screen. It says, Asmongold goes off saying it's mind-boggling. People still don't understand this. No matter whether it's physical or digital, you never truly own it. After people complain about having less ownership following Sony's PlayStation decision to move away, blah, blah, blah. This is what makes me so mad about this, because you buy a digital version doesn't mean that you should be giving up any of your consumer rights. And this concept and this dichotomy between physical and digital editions that they're almost assumed that you have less ownership of them is bullshit. Nobody's saying that, though. Nobody's saying that. Here's the problem. Yes, you can argue PlayStation sucks when it comes to their digital library, right? Because the digital storefront, they recently, I think it was like some South American country, they recently took like 500 movies out of people's libraries just randomly. Well, we can't have access to those anymore because we don't have rights to it or some reason. And they just yanked them out of people's libraries. So if you want to talk about like, well, we need digital rights, like digital consumers' rights and protections, sure. That's an argument you can have, but you can have the two arguments at the same time. I'm just annoyed when someone's that wrong with that much confidence in their tone. It is pretty incredible to be like so blatantly wrong, but still willfully think like, I don't know. It's crazy. You own new game less. This is why I play a lot of games from my childhood from 30 years ago. Those games you basically owned. Yeah. Does one have to pay for the privilege of using your own internet to access Sony online? Guys, hey, PlayStation people out there, I think you do. I think it is just like Xbox where you have to pay for an Xbox Live subscription. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I'm pretty sure you have to pay for Sony's live service. Nintendo, you got to pay, but it's only like $20 a year. And I hate to say only, but it is like way cheaper than paying for Xbox Live. Now, Smeg, what I can tell you is Xbox did away with Xbox Live being necessary for free-to-play games. So, for example, if you were only playing Fortnite, Apex Legends, is Rainbow Six free-to-play? I can't remember. Any of those games that are free-to-play, Overwatch, you don't have to pay for an actual internet connection through Xbox Live. Your regular internet's enough. You don't have to pay anything extra. But if you do want to use other multiplayer games that are not free-to-play games on Xbox Live, you have to pay for it. You do have to pay for live on service on PS5. Okay. All multiplayer is locked behind it except for... Oh, so it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as Xbox then. So they're doing the exact same thing. So Siege is free to play now. Actually, I think I bought Siege back in the day and I never played. The pineapple Kool-Aid and the rainbow shirt did some permanent damage. I feel like that's actually a thing. I feel like that happened. It says it's a false dichotomy that's been created by companies in order to give you the illusion that you have control. Whether you buy a disc of something, but the disc is running on software, or whenever you buy a disc is running software, they can choose not to run the program. That's fine. So Decembro says we already... Is this the same response? Okay, I think it's the same response. We'll just go with this one. He says... We already know we don't own it. That's not the fucking point. The point is you are right now at a threshold because up till now, even though you didn't own it, you did have the security that it wouldn't be taken away from you regardless, if for nothing else than just common business sense. That might not have been ownership, but it's the next best thing because one, you can access it from your library at any time, and two, it's confidence such as the confidence Valve inspires. Right now, we're at a threshold where that sense of security is being eroded by some of these companies because they legitimately don't want you to even access the content. You're being tested. The time for it is what it is. None of this matters. We never own anything anyways. Not now. That doesn't do shit. If your house is on fire, you don't go, my house is on fire. How do you not understand this? It's burning. You get your family outside and put it out. Let me see. On Switch, it was maybe $10 for the basic. Did people actually buy Siege on Switch? That's crazy. I bought Spyro to Toplin. Oh, I can't know how to pronounce that, man. Arcade collection games. Lost Soul aside and 2. Oh my god, yeah, that's crazy. You got those all physical? That's nuts. $10 at least on the Switch. Maybe it was 20. I don't remember. I think I bought Siege for $10 on Xbox. I can't remember, dude. Not every game is a disc with no gamer can be bricked. Here's the thing. In a situation like this, I think I can actually, to some degree, the more I think about it, empathize with the mindset Asmongold has, at least from the perspective of we've given up on digital ownership if we're worried about physical when physical no longer means physical. The issue I have is I don't mind fighting on two fronts. I don't mind fighting back and saying, why isn't physical truly physical? Like the whole Nintendo keycard thing, right? People should be boycotting it saying, I'm not buying another physical Nintendo game until the game is actually on the keycard. People won't, but they should. By the same token, it's not enough to say we want discs. It should be actually, hey, I want the disc and I want the game to be able to be played with just the disc and no internet connection, right? So just saying, oh, screw physical, we just need to make sure we have digital. Okay, well, you can make sure you have digital protections now. What about 10 years from now? What about 20 years from now? Physical is the only protection you have. I can accept that by playing digital on computer, I might lose 90% of my games or all of my rights or whatever at some point. If you buy a game physically, you should absolutely be assured that that can never go anywhere. That's just the way I feel about it, you know? All in physical, that's crazy. Sail the high seas, lads, it's the only way forward. Yeah, we need the Johnny Depp meme, you know? We can make cartridges and the games would be massive. Oh my god, dude. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know how people would respond. Let's say I saw somebody did a AI meme, like a mock-up of the Steam machine with a cartridge sticking out the top of it. I'm like, I don't know that people would, like, for example, computer games would never do that. Part of the appeal with like the current Steam marketplace and everything else is like a lot of the indie games can put their games out there without worrying about distribution cost. I don't know what the market would be for computer games on cartridge. I could be wrong, but I'm also not going to be buying a Steam machine. I have no reason to buy a Steam machine whatsoever. I've got a perfectly functional PC. I don't need a Steam machine. Cartridges though, I don't know. So this guy here says, you ever notice that when a gaming company makes a bad choice, everyone blames it on consumers? Everything bad is always your fault. To which David Jaffe, of all people, comes back and says, yes, because that's how a business works. Sony not selling 3D TVs anymore is the consumer's fault. Just as Sony deciding to make a PS6 or greenlight a new Uncharted or God of War is the consumer's fault, it's actually kind of beautifully simple in the logic. Yeah, I agree, Wise Ass Duck. If it's a game I'm really interested in, I want to buy it to keep, so no physical, no buy. Yeah. Commodore Vic 20 days in the Tara, that comment. What do I... Oh, the cartridges. Dude, I love cartridges. I still have all my old cartridges. They're great. I love this mentality of blame the consumer. And even if it's true, maybe phrase it differently. So this guy, Sergio, responds to David and says, in this case, though, per the Insomniac leaks, and this is what I was talking about earlier, in some games cases, up to 50% of its first-party games are being sold physically. I feel like the consumer is doing their part. Sony just isn't taking that into account due to their greed to maximize control and profits. And so David says, even if that stat is correct or holds up over the last few years, the consumer has the option to walk away like they did from 3D TVs. At that point, Sony either corrects or someone comes along and eats their lunch. So this is the wildest thing. This is absolutely the wildest thing. Thinking about it again, blaming the consumers for companies not making cartridges or discs anymore when think about okay. Sorry guys, I'm tired. So let me collect my thoughts for a second and figure out the best way to say this. Who is the one? Who's the company? Who's the person responsible for going away from physical discs and cartridges? Is it the consumers? Right, Tekla, exactly. No. One day, when we're growing up, we're teenagers and 20-somethings, and we're growing up and we're buying video games and still collecting our discs and cartridges and stuff. One of these companies decided, hey, you know what? We're going to sell these games digitally as well. See, we're going to make it money off both ends. You don't want to have to own the physical disc? Well, we'll put it on the storefront. No big deal, right? Is that the consumer's fault? The company that made the games, that made the storefront, are the ones who chose to do that. If they had never done that, if console companies had never chosen to make a digital storefront, people would still be buying discs. So this whole blame the consumer when the company's the one that made the pivot. The company is the one that chose to make the pivot. Now, do people respond? Sure. A lot of people are buying digital because it's just easier, right? Just easier. Well, guess what? Easier doesn't mean better. All right. And unfortunately, I think people are going to start figuring that out the more and more they lose access to games that if they were physical on discs, you would never lose access to. Now, obviously, you can lose a game, scratch a disc, whatever. It was a war between Sony and Microsoft. We had the Blu-ray versus HD DVD physical disc wars. Since Microsoft lost that war, it's been caving since. I'd still be pirating like before Steam. Valve forced everyone to adopt Steam by forcing you to use it to get Half-Life 2. That's when all this started. So they did that with Half-Life 2. So that was kind of like prior to Epic requiring people to have Epic Launcher for Fortnite. And it is crazy when you think about like all the independent launchers, and then people talk about games like Escape from Tarkov being on Steam, and it's like, well, yeah, but nobody plays Escape from Tarkov on Steam. Most people are still playing it on their own launcher, right? Yeah, it's easy to stream your movie. It doesn't mean it's better than Blu-rays. So, guys, I've got a bit of an unk moment. Anybody my age and older can probably identify with what I'm going through right now. So, my daughter, she had softball practice. My wife is still not driving. I'm like, you stay home. I'll take her, and then I'll come back, and then I'll go back and pick her up. So, I'm in the car. I've got some music on Spotify, not on CD, because my car doesn't have a CD player, because that's the world that we live in now. And I'm pulling up some bands I liked from like the early 2000s, like Evans Blue and Breaking Benjamin and Stained and all that other crap, right? And I'm going through this and I'm going, I have all these albums on disc, and I've got hundreds of CDs in my CD wallets, but here I am talking about music and listening to music with my daughter, who's 11 years old now, on my fucking phone, streaming it to my car through Blu-ray because I don't even have a CD player in my car. There's certain things where it's like, back in my day, a plum was a nickel. Okay, I get it. Boomer shit, right? But then there's also something to the fact that there are certain things that are just better. Physical media is just better for a lot of reasons. And then what about there are artists that aren't on Spotify? Stained. It's been a while. Yeah. Oh my God. Hang on. Soundboard's probably not even working. Where's this at? Yeah, it's not working. Just imagine a little badum. Hey, section. What happened to your PS1 game? I can't play anymore because loading screens don't load. Blue Square of Death. Hooray for emulation. Yeah, there you go. I owned a Sierra version of Half-Life 2 mint condition. Damn, you guys, that's crazy. Start with people assuming ownership. Then Astroturfers rolled in with you never owned anything. It changes nothing. Then I said, but I can sell. Yeah, so Oblivion, here's the thing. It's like, you could make the argument, well, you've always rented a license. You bought a license, you're renting the game, essentially. You're renting the movie, you're renting the music. It's why you can't make copies of it, because you don't own it. Okay, but I can still physically do whatever I want to, and as long as I don't get caught, I have it complete in my hand in the disc. Getting away from that was the first mistake. Replacing it entirely with all digital is the worst potential outcome. So, again, going back to David Jaffe's blame the consumer thing, I'm like, okay. It says, at that point, Sony either corrects or someone comes along and eats their lunch. It's supposed to work that way. Companies always are driven by greed to maximize control and profits. It's always been that way. Seems that they may have just been making smarter decisions back in the early days. I guess we'll see how much this is a real issue versus a vocal minority. I have no idea how it's going to go. Well, at least you can be honest about that. By using that logic, why is PlayStation still reportedly chasing live service obsession despite repeated failures, studio closures, canceled projects, and their consumers clearly not responding to it? Interesting question. I mean, yeah, if you're talking about, well, the consumers are making the choices, well, why does Sony keep greenlighting so many god-awful, wretched failure live service games, right? If it's all the consumer's choice, consumer's fault, this and that, blame the consumer, why is Sony not listening to the consumer? Why is Microsoft not listening to the consumer? Nobody asked for Campaign Evolved. Did anybody want Halo Campaign Evolved? No. And it's launching without multiplayer. Like, what the fuck is that? Yes, the first game was great, but the first game, I played 20 hours, 30 hours of Halo multiplayer before I knew the game even had a campaign. Okay? We used to record music from the radio on a cassette tape. Smeg, I have, my mom has somewhere in her garage in storage like dozens of cassette tapes that we recorded, VHS tapes from like programs and movies and shit on TV, No Campaign Evolved. I mean, for real, who cares about Campaign Evolved? I'd rather just go back and play the original game. Who cares? So GOG came out and shared a statement saying on digital ownership, after Sony announced the end of physical disc, that they said if a game vanishes from the GOG storefront, it never leaves your library. This is how purchased games should work. If a game vanishes, it never leaves, exactly as digital ownership ought to be. So I guess they also have like an offline installer where you can actually install the games too. GOG provides fully offline installers, no DRM, no online check, no limited installs. It is the superior platform for buying games. And I think, honestly, if Steam could be a little bit more like GOG, that would be great. Obviously, yes, Gabe, Lord Gabe based, all this stuff. Everyone loves Gabe, and I get it, right? But unfortunately, it's not always going to be that way, More like Devolved. Oh my God. Probably aren't releasing multiplayer to avoid pulling people off their stupid live service. Yeah, that's probably it, dude. That probably is. The issue, Lugia, is that GOG just doesn't have enough games. So, like, I don't even know if I have the GOG launcher installed on my computer, guys. Like, I own. I can say that. Like, I can say I own a few games through GOG. I don't even have the launcher installed. Is it just a website or is it a launcher? I haven't been there in forever. Could have sworn it was a launcher. It's a train wreck of its own, yeah. So why am I not signed in? This is the craziest thing. I don't know if I'm signed in through Google or Steam. How would I know that? I don't have any log information saved. Let's try Steam. Hang on a second. Ah, well, fuck it. We'll screw it. We'll figure this out later. All right. Let's look at the games that GOG has. Let's just go store. They have 12,355 games in total. All right. I mean, that's not nothing. Obviously, they got Cyberpunk and Witcher. That's not a shock there. Price range. I don't want to go up to $237. Who's buying a $237 game? That's nuts. That is insane. Galaxy is the launcher, GOG is the store. Okay. Maybe I do have the Galaxy launcher installed then. Do they have Skyrim Legendary Edition? I don't know. Let's see. They have got Skyrim Anniversary Edition, Special Edition, and the upgrade. Is the Legendary Edition the Anniversary Edition? Or is it the Special Edition? They do have a launcher, which annually combines all your connected libraries into one. Oh, that's cool. Good old games. It does have a crap ton of old games. The fact that it also has newer titles is just an extra. Legendary Edition is 2011 one. I don't know. Neither one of these says Legendary. This just says Anniversary. But it's only $16. The Special Edition for Skyrim's only $10. Again, I don't know the difference. It has one major issue that most people aren't aware of. I can imagine it has a few issues, to be honest. Just looking at the limited library it has, and I'm not saying that it's bad. I mean, okay, let's say Kingdom Come. They've got Kingdom Come Deliverance. Do they have? Let's see here. Bannerlord. They got Bannerlord. All right, cool. Great game. Let me see here. You bought Daggerfall? Updates come much slower. Oh, that's a bummer. So it's not like if you're looking for a game, you can't find it. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of games. So for example, Big Fry, YouTuber, he just made a game called Transients this year. It's a first-person shooter, tactical shooter, just came out. And he's been trying to get it on GOG, and they actually just reached out to him to get it on the server. So on the storefront. So yeah, I mean, slowly but surely, I think they're adding to it. And just like Steam, you can feel like, hey, at least these guys aren't going to screw me over. And it's true for a while. Is that always going to be the case? I don't know. It's all a matter of who you trust, right? It's kind of like internet. Yeah, 600. I mean, it's not just 600. There's 12,000. 12,355. And if they're all legitimately good games and it's not like a bunch of shovelware shit, like Steam's got so much garbage on it, let's be fair. There's a shitload of garbage on Steam. Oh, Why Is That Stuck's got 600, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. My account only has like 24 games, and it's all ones that I got like free through Amazon Prime or some shit like that. You'll mind if it's a game-breaking fix and it delays because it takes longer to push updates? That's crazy, man. She'll love it when old games come out as enhanced version or definitive edition and can discontinue the game to make you buy it again. Yeah, it's great, man. Good times. Good times. So, yeah. Let me see here. Where are we at? David Jaffe. Sony and Microsoft. Well, because the reason it's Sony and Microsoft shooting themselves in the leg is because apparently Microsoft is doing this shit also. Right after we saw that apparently Xbox is testing a disc-to-digital feature that digitizes physical game collections, which I don't know why you'd want to do that. I mean, maybe as a digital backup. I don't know. I haven't thought about... Look, like I said, I haven't had a disk drive in years. I wouldn't think about that. I have no idea. But then it came out that there's a report claiming that Xbox's Project Helix, the new Xbox, also won't have a disk drive. Now, does this mean that they're not going to have physical disks? Probably. Is it possible they're going to have an external drive like we've seen before? Maybe, but it's more likely that Xbox is also going to be giving up physical disks too. It's just that nobody gives a shit about Xbox compared to PlayStation. As somebody who's more of an Xbox guy than PlayStation, I can admit that Xbox has basically lost the console war like a long time ago. So it is what it is, right? Oh my God, here you got people like this dude right here. If you're switching to PC because PlayStation is going digital only, I have got some news for you. Of course, the community note says Sony will stop producing physical discs for new PlayStation games in January 2028. PC gaming offers more flexibility. GOG sells DRM-free games with offline installers that users routinely back up to external media or burn to discs themselves. Mikey No More saying console peasants really think PC gamers play the same by the same rules as them. I can back up, copy, and burn to a disc every DRM-free game I own right now, and Gabe won't tell me shit. And then Permaband responded and said, yeah, a few problems with what you said. Whataboutism isn't a proper counter-argument. PlayStation's move to digital only is objectively bad for ownership. But PC is mostly digital too doesn't fix that. Outside of Steam, you have GOG with full DRM-free offline installers. Many Steam games also are DRM-free and can launch without the client. Copies can be backed up or even burned to disk, effectively restoring physical media. Preservation sites like My Abandonware provide repositories of games publishers have abandoned or refused to re-release. Most important in the PlayStation context, delisted Steam games may stay in your library if you purchased before. Example, Fable 3, delisted for over a decade, owners can still download and play it. PC is a modding hub. Games get community fixes, enhancements, and longevity far beyond what consoles allow. Emulation's a massive preservation advantage. Play old console games, including many PS titles that will never be re-released, and with the bells and whistles of emulation software, their experience is enhanced from the console release from FPS boosts, cleaner visuals, higher resolutions, patches, etc. So again, if you are really undertaking the near impossible task of defending PlayStation's horrible "we are phasing out physical media by 2020" decision, you're going to have to do way better than that. That's a mouthful. Steam is basically digital only. These clowns hanging to GOG for offline installing is so retarded. I don't know what you're talking about. Suffa console gamers. Who has heard the spiffing Brit Jeff Bezos song? I have not heard that one, man. Their disc is to digital is just retarded. Dude, I don't even know why people would do that, to be honest. I have no idea. Falling asleep. Dude, why is that stuck? I'm right there with you, man. I am so tired. It's not even funny. Then you got this dude here say, oh my God, do you guys see these retards that climbed the Empire State Building? Gamers should focus on the permanent ownership of digital media rather than the lost cause of physical media. Now, that's not what the flag said. It was some stupid statement about love, right? This person, IRL loading screen, says, I don't want discs. I just want to keep my games. Dez says, yeah, the two of them are connected. What do you think they're coming for next? This is my point. This is when I say the slippery slope of what happens next. Advocating for physical media isn't only the same for advocating for game ownership. It's advocating for balance when it comes to game pricing. It's retarded to think this is separate, so haha, fuck discs. Yeah. No, dude, there are so many bad takes. There was this dude here. Where was he at? Actually has like a gaming podcast, and he's like, I haven't bought a physical game since 2019. I really couldn't care less. Ricky Berwick lost it on him. He's like, you host a gaming podcast and still don't understand why physical games matter. Some of us still like physical copies, collecting, lending games to friends, and midnight releases that actually feel like events. Acting above all that doesn't make you look smarter. It makes you sound selfish. Yeah, 100%. Steam, you can't back up if anything happens to Steam. You still need to crack the Steam files to even use them. They're hanging on to offline installers from GOG like it means something. Oh, okay. Gotcha. No, dude, honestly, it's stuff that I've never tried to do. So for me, all those things people talk about, like, again, the repacking sites, the pirating, the offline installers, all those things are awesome. And if I ever needed to use them, those are something that I would absolutely figure out how to use. In my convenience of not worrying about Steam fucking me over and taking away my products that I purchased, I have never had to look into those. But much like everything else in life, like I was talking about my stupid kids' bicycles earlier, when you start to realize now I need to learn another skill, you just add it to the queue of things that you have to teach yourself how to do, you know? So when it comes time to need to learn how to do those things, I'll just have to figure out how to do them, you know? We need to have more options. Movies and music have options to buy physical. Yeah, but they're also phasing those out too, Lucia. Now, to be fair, here's the thing. I care much more about video games physically than I do movies. And I'll say this only because of the fact that I haven't given a shit about watching movies in a very long time. You can't transfer your account to someone else if you happen to pass away legally. Yeah, that sucks, wise ass duck. But they also do the thing where you can share games on your family, like in the same household or whatever. Like if I ever wanted to borrow my kids' games off Steam or they wanted to borrow mine, we could do that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, they're not a perfect platform either. Not a perfect storefront. But no, I actually care more about physical games than I do about movies. Not that for people who buy movies, it's also not important. It's just that I haven't watched a movie in so long. Like I'm in this phase right now where if I'm not playing a game or streaming or making a video or whatever, at the end of the night, what I want to do is go read a book, right? And I don't do books on Kindle. I don't do books on my phone. I read paper books. I just ordered the whole set of the Dune original books, and they're coming while I'm freaking gone over the weekend and the first part of next week. And I loved Dune is one of the best books I've read in a long time. I did not realize how good that book was until I put it down. I'm like, I want the next one, right? All right, Empress. We'll be over there in a little bit. What if they turn around and say, yeah, no, more print media? No, dude, exactly. I'm literally I'm talking about books right now. So I do care about the physical preservation of them. I'm just not talking about it from like a personal perspective. So for me, I would say if they stopped making movies physically, I don't care, but I do care because somebody else needs them physically. At this point, I just don't watch movies. I barely watch TV shows. The shows I do watch are all reruns. Like we own The Office on the first like 5 or 6 seasons on DVD. So the few TV shows I do care about, I'm gonna out myself. I actually like Frasier. I watched the seasons of Frasier, like all 11 seasons, multiple times growing up. I grew up on Seinfeld. I hated Seinfeld though. MASH, Frasier, all those TV shows, you know. So I mean, Oblivion, I've got a shitload of DVDs. So it's not that I don't own. I own way more movies than I will ever watch. Hundreds of movies on DVD. Some that I inherited, some that I own, some that Chrissy, that when we got married, that she brought with her. Same with our CDs. It turned out when we first got together, it's like we had, that 70s show. Like I've got hundreds of CDs, hundreds of movies, all this stuff. Like it's not that I don't own the physical copies of these things. It's just that for me, they're not a priority. But we're like, Vernum talks about books, 100%. Like I care about the preservation of books. So even if it's not for me personally to give a shit about the movies, I still care about the preservation of them, you know? My own DVD and VHS collection would put most people to shame. Yeah, exactly. And so while, like I said, while I'm lamenting talking about how, I'm sharing my musical taste with my daughter, and we're talking about music that I listened to, and I was like barely older than her because it was like I was like 17 or 18 at the time. And I'm sad that I'm listening to it on Spotify. I still own the physical discs. Like nobody can take that away from me. You know, they don't need the internet to work. I just have to have a CD player. I just have to have something that I can play the disc on. It's not only anti-customer, it's also anti-social. Yeah, dude, Tekla, that's a huge piece of it, man. That cannot be understated. And I think that's unfortunately, like, if we want to talk about something and it's not just COVID, it's not just like, well, everything was perfect before COVID. No, we were approaching weird territory, like uncharted territory. The minute everything turned to streaming, the minute everything turned to, digital this and digital that and on demand and less physical copies of everything, whether it's a book, whether it's a movie, whether it's music, there was a very social aspect to it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I borrowed a video game or loaned a video game, loaned a movie, borrowed a movie, loaned a book, borrowed a book. And they don't want that, man. They don't want people being able to do those things, And it's unfortunate because it's not just important for socialization. It's also important for you feeling like you actually have a sense of ownership. Because once you no longer have anything physically tangible in your hands, it's all easily like taken away, And yes, so getting back to like the original point Aspen Gold had, well, you care about the physical disc, but the disc isn't actually physical. It's all digital. Well, then we need to fix that. We shouldn't just give up on that. Like the fucking black pilling on the fact that it's the fact that we allowed it to even get to this point where they weren't even putting the game on the disc anymore, or it required an internet connection or a patch to even make it work. Never should have been a thing that ever happened. Neverwinter Nights. Dude, I looked at that game forever and never actually picked it up. That was one I had on my list. I'm like, oh, I'll get around to maybe picking that one up. People were getting very isolated. The pandemic reminded people of the value of reaching out. But Oblivion, it also had the opposite effect for people who were already getting antisocial. It made them that much more antisocial. You know, I think that it had a profound effect on people, and it kind of like people split off two different directions. You either went back and went, man, that sucked, I never want to do that again, or you never got to play it either. Oh my god, that's terrible. The disc was a carton piece telling you to go online to download. That's sad. That's terrible. Lost, I remember those type of people. Dude, Smeg, it's the craziest thing. Actually, Equilibrium, he hasn't been in chat in a while, but he tagged me in something on Twitter. There was this I can't remember what the black content creator's name is, but he's talking about how he's like, let me tell you something, I will never... He's like, the worst people around you are black people. I'm like, oh my god. But he's going off about how basically the people in his life that'll screw him over the most, take things, borrow things, not ask for things, steal money from him, borrow money, not return it, like not repay it. We're all black people. I'm like, I'm not saying nothing. I can't comment on this. Any games I'm looking forward to? Dude, Mortal Shell 2. Yeah, Mortal Shell 2. I'm hyped about that one. Galactic Racer, I'm actually really hyped about because I don't do many racing games, but that one I love, the pod racer games. So, no, it wasn't Atreus. Although, I don't know if I would loan Atreus anything. I'd loan Kata something for sure. Atreus, I feel like he'd either fuck it up or break it or lose it. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to spend more time around him. I was only hung out with him for a few hours, so I don't know. There's games I'm looking forward to. There really are. I was really hyped about Windrose, and then I'm like, dude, I don't need to buy another survival game. I'm interested to see where freaking God Save Birmingham ends up. New Warhammer 40k RTS on the way. Yeah, I mean, there's people who are hyped about that one too. The OpenXCom project works with the Steam versions as well. Oh, I didn't know about that. That's crazy. So there was actually, I was going to try to stream it, and then the beta ended before I even had time because of my wife's surgery and everything. So the ironic part about this God Save Birmingham game, it's a survival crafting game, zombies set like in, the Dark Ages in England. It actually has gotten better when it comes to like the gameplay itself. The only issue I have is it just feels really rough as far as like the actual crafting survival stuff. I don't know when this game is going to be done. I don't know if they have like a target date. It's definitely it's gonna be a difficult game. Like there's no difficulty setting right now. It's just beta. But like you can disassemble basically everything for parts. There's crafting and survival shit you can do. A lot of it's locked behind like leveling up, and there wasn't much time for me to get to that part. I actually got stuck here. I got bugged out there. But yeah, there's like different weapons and stuff to find. There's different, I don't know. I'm interested in it, but I'm worried it's just going to be another time sink that I don't have time to sink into, But yeah, I'm actually interested in it. Now you can see up here at the top, at one point when I was playing, I drank some contaminated water. Like your character can get sick, he can get anxious, he can get afraid, he can get tired. You can have all sorts of like stamina drain, all these things that can hit you because it's not just the zombies themselves, it's what you eat, it's the environment, it's all these things, right? It's a very ambitious game when it comes to like crafting survival. And so my guy, he ended up like dying of like the Black Plague or some shit like that. Like by the time I finally found like actual armor and a spear, and I had fixed the well where I could actually get water out of it, and I was figuring out how to cook things and all that. You got access to it too? It was interesting, dude. I'm genuinely pretty interested in like how the game's gonna turn out. Yeah, swinging with the spear like a retard for a second. Stab him. It's gonna be a massive time sink. This reminds me of State of Decay, just medieval. I died of water. No, you can see like all this shit up here. My guy ends up dying of, well, and like your bandages get soiled and infected. So right about this part right here, I think is when I died. I went to sleep at night and I never woke up. So I survived about 2 hours from this time I spawned in to the time that I was done. And yeah, the loading screens are pretty rough. I don't know if it's because it's like obviously not optimized yet, being a beta, but the loading screens took me forever. Soiled DSP mentioned. Oh my god. Yeah, God rest your soul. Died of the Black Plague. But yeah, I think this one will be fun. I don't know if there's gonna be multiplayer. I don't know if there's gonna be customization. So far, when I was doing the play tests, like the early alpha testing and the beta here, it's the same base character model. There's like no customization and stuff, which I'm cool with. I don't care about customization for characters so much. Not really something I worry about too much. But like there's a lot of different things in the game, a lot of items and shit you can do, so. This gun also has those crazy metrics to kill your character 9,000 ways. Ugh. Yeah, unfortunately, like I like crafting survival games and I don't mind games that have more of that kind of brutalistic realism to it. But games where, oh god, that was the thing about freaking Crusader Kings 3. When I was playing Crusader Kings 3, that was so brutal. It's like, oh, randomly one day you've got some sort of weird disease and your character has 5 days to live and your entire kingdom is fucked because you don't have your lineage set up properly. It's like the game Dark Age Oregon Trail. Dude, that's really what happened. That is pretty much exactly what happened. So it's all good. It is what it is. I think it'll be a good game. But yeah, as far as like games I'm actually looking forward to, I'm going to be buying Mortal Shell 2 when it comes out. We're going to stream Mortal Shell 2. And I might not make another video the entire time I'm playing that game. I might just stream that game a few nights a week and just have fun with that. Because I don't know when the game's coming out. I don't know where I'm going to be mentally or physically with everything else going on in life. I'm just going to be enjoying that game for what it is because I've been looking forward to it for a while. So I'm going to set up at the redirect to go over to... Is it going to have a physical edition? It won't matter for me because I'm going to end up... Why am I looking at this on stream here? What is this? This is so weird. YouTube Studio completely redid everything. Like, I don't even know how to set up the redirect now. Like, why is it showing me my stream? I'm trying to set up the redirect here. Dude, YouTube is insane. I don't even know what these updates are doing. Holy shit. If it does have a physical edition, well, in fact, let me check here. While I'm thinking about it, let me pull this up. Let me see if I can find out. Because I'm not buying it for console. I'm buying it for PC. Mortal Shell 2 physical edition. According to ChatGPT, or I guess it's what, Genesis or whatnot, it's getting a physical release exclusively on PlayStation 5. Standard edition is $49.99. You can also pre-order the collector's revered edition for $69.99, which includes a 100-page art book, steelbook, art prints, and exclusive in-game cosmetics. That's cool. Like, I'm actually not lying. That's not bad. Hey, Truth. Dude, Wagon, I went to go set up a redirect for the stream, and all of a sudden, it's like showing me my stream and all the behind-the-scene analytics and shit. I'm like, I'm just trying to reroute the stream to go over to Empress when I'm done. Like, what is it doing to me here? I wonder if I can try it from this screen here. Do that. Let me see. Is there any option for that? No, it's going to make me... here we go. Customization. Got it. I got it. Don't worry. We're good. So, back to this thing about Mortal Shell 2. It does. It looks like Mortal Shell 2 pre-orders are now live. Ahead of the release of Mortal Shell 2 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC, publisher PlayStack has opened pre-orders with 2 physical versions of the game now available. Would you look at that? It's an actual collector's box and everything? Oh my god. Blight Survival. I was interested in that one too. Light No Fire was the game I was extremely hyped for, but it's completely gone dark. That's a bummer. So you got pre-order bonus skins. You got the art book, 100-page art book. That's actually not bad. Gonna start selling your food digitally too? I might as well, man. I had the Domino's tweet pulled up. I just didn't actually get to it on stream. I hate to be that guy. I really hate to be that guy. But this, for $70, is actually not bad. That's... Wow, I can't believe I'm saying that. And I'm trying to separate the fact that I want to play the game and I'm gonna buy the game anyways. I'm not buying the collector's edition because I'm buying it on PC. But like, that's not a bad deal. I don't know. 1 million Aussie dollar dues. Oh my god, for real, man. You got that edition steelbook? Wait, you ordered the Mortal Shell 2, or are you saying the Halo 2? Halo 2, yes, that's the steelbook I've got back there. I love that thing. All right, guys, I'm going to redirect you guys over to Empress. For $70, it's fine. Yeah, I think that's actually a decent collect. Because again, the base game's $50. That's reasonable. And then $20 more, you get all that shit with it. Might as well get a baby digitally. Oh my god. You want to hear Kingard's opinion? You know the funny thing, Truth? I actually just subscribed to his channel today. I thought I had been subscribed. I watched some of his stuff previously. Good stuff. Physical collector's editions are okay in my book. The digital ones are a joke. Yeah, for real. Tekla, dude, that's awesome, man. Oh, I will, man. She's just resting. I need to go make sure she took her pain meds for the night. Oh, man. Yeah, so if you guys are hanging out at all a little bit later, if any of you are not going to sleep, you're going to get redirected over to Empress's stream. She's playing Sniper Elite, I think. But yeah, Tekla, I'm hyped about that game. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. No reason to pre-order it on digital. I don't think there's any sort of like digital pre-order exclusive or any of that kind of shit, so whatever. But yeah, that actually for $70, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, Wagon Burner, Blithian, Tekla, Wise Ass Duck, Vernum, Smeg, Section 71, Lugia, Truth, all you guys. I think I said Avernum already. I might have said Avernum already. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm going to hit the hay. I will see you guys when I see you. Drunk Savage, of course. I'm not going to be back around until sometime next week. Probably midweek. Might be able to do... Hang on a second. Let me think about the schedule. I might be able to do a Wednesday stream. Might be able to. So, I might not be back until then. Keep your fingers crossed. My boy plays for State coming up here on Sunday. We have our first game. The coach told me he needs me in the dugout, so I'm once again a unofficial assistant coach again. Oh my god. It's going to be like 95 degrees over there. We're going to die. Appreciate it, Lugia. I mean, I'm kind of hoping they go as far as they can. I don't think my son's winning State. Like, their team's good, but it's like, holy shit, this is a whole nother thing. But district is one thing. State is insane. So... Then, of course, my daughter's all-star team starts next week. So I'm going to be very, 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 very busy for a little while. But I appreciate you guys for hanging. I appreciate you guys for just stopping by and not thinking I died. Oh, for sure, Lucia. My boys have actually been watching soccer, which is hilarious because we don't typically watch soccer, but they've been watching parts of the World Cup. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Appreciate all of you. Thanks again for hanging out. I will catch you guys when I catch you.